I'm gonna be finding out my brand DNA. So, yeah, that'll be fun. You'll get to see me behind the scenes a little bit. Let's see, what's the best way to go about this? Yeah, okay, you guys can see everything, I think. But just in case, maybe I'll have this in the background. So just make sure it looks good. Okay, it looks like the internet works again, thank God. Man, this always happens. Okay. So, unsubscribe. No, thank God. Oh, so I was gonna post a couple LinkedIn. Alright, let's see what it looks like on live, content, live. Make sure the sound sounds good. How do I do this? Do I just click on it? So you can't really see. Alright, well. Alright, so at least the sound works. That's good. Good to see. So I'm gonna be posting my LinkedIn post. Alright, so I'm gonna go to my profile, go to newsletters, self-development tips. And then, when did I post this? 1 day ago. So today's post will be the boy who create new edition. I got 6 minutes until my next meeting. So I think I downloaded this, but it's called The Boy Who Would Be King by Ryan Holiday. The Boy Who Would Be King. Oh, here you go. King Unveiling Timeless Wisdom. Cool. Okay. Copy and paste. Oop. And then, oh yeah, I can post this on Medium as well. Medium. Medium. Right. Oh, gotta do this right. Exit, don't save. Newsletter covered 15. Okay. So I need to add that. Newsletter cover 15. Oh, I did not download it yet. Okay. Wait, is this it? Make sure. Oh, no, that's not it. Oops. Crafting the Timeless. So, download desktop. Where is it? Oh, desktop. Marcus Aurelius. So Marcus Aurelius is like a pretty famous thought leader in he was the emperor of Rome back in the day. So I'm writing a a newsletter to add value to my community. So this is it's a heartfelt invitation to explore the depths of our potential okay. Alright. So I'm gonna paste this. And then I will publish it. And then I can share it on Facebook. Alright, and then I'm going to schedule another one called Perennial. Oh wait, did I? Oh shit, did I mess this up? Oh. Discipline is destiny, the power of self-control. Oh shit, I fucked up. Well, good thing I can go back. So this book is called Perennial Seller. So let me look it up. Perennial Seller. Oh, did I not download it? Oh crap, how am I meeting now? Let's join. Brand DNA starts in 1 hour. Zoom link. I'm not sure we're allowed to bring our meeting note taker, but okay. Hey, New Jersey, represent. That's another Jersey, represent. North Brunswick, New Jersey. Alright. Okay, just schedule the 2 authors for today's Alright.
All right, everybody, welcome. So happy to see all of your bright, shining faces this morning. My name is Elizabeth Stevens. I am the VP of Member Experience and Founding Strategist here at the Brand Builders Group. I'm so excited to welcome most of you. I know I see some faces that have been through Brand DNA before, which is exciting, but most of you guys are brand new to Brand Builders Group. I would love to see a raise of hands of who just joined Brand Builders Group in the last 10 days. How many of you have joined in the last 10 days? Yeah, Keisha, I see Mitch, and there's Fia, so awesome. I love the fact that you guys dove in head first and are like, get me into Brand DNA. It is so important for those of you. I know there are a couple of people here who've maybe been through Brand DNA or kind of cycling back through. You can raise your hands here if this is not your first rodeo. We see that happen a lot too, where people go through Brand DNA and just really need to tighten up, a few lingering pieces. And so it'll be great for you guys to be in small groups where you're learning from other Brand Builders members who've been here and kind of been diving into Brand DNA a little bit as well. This is where everyone begins. I cannot say that enough for those of you who've been on onboarding calls with me. I have told you it doesn't matter if you have millions of dollars or millions of followers or just have a dream on your heart to start something new and different or expand what you've already been doing, everyone starts here. And it is because brand DNA is the heavy lifting that no one really does. And you might have done something similar to brand DNA for your business, but I can tell you this, you haven't done it for you as a human being. How are you showing up in the world? How are you positioning yourself to other people? How are you leveraging who you are to accelerate trust with people around you? And that is what we are going to do today and tomorrow. How many of you all are excited about diving into these activities and really excited about coming out on the other end of the day tomorrow with some clarity, for sure? Yes, I love Tammy. I love the celebration there. That is how I feel too. And let me tell you this. It is our goal that by the end of tomorrow, you are 75% of the way there. Some of you will get to the end of the day tomorrow and be like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, everything is solid. Some of you will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so close. I am clearer than I've ever been before. I have a little bit of work to do, but I'm so close. This is part of our effort. And you attending here and kind of accelerating that brand DNA process, our effort to just get you 75% of the way there, because we know we have to have the accountability to push you forward. I use this example a lot. We can spend a lot of time at brand DNA kind of circling the brand DNA drain, right? Of saying, gosh, this one word is just eluding me and I can't move until I get it right. You guys, I feel you, I get it. We put a lot of importance on this curriculum that I'm here to tell you, moving in to captivating content, which is where every single person in this room will go next, is going to clarify that remaining 25%. We know that it does, which is why we'll push you out of the nest a little bit. We'll be like, no, we're gonna move on. We're gonna see how clear and streamlined this gets. Everyone feel good about that. So we're aiming for 75%, which is not typically what we aim for in school. The 3PG is different, right? 75% is awesome. And a lot of you will feel even better than that, which we're really excited for. We love seeing clarity come. We love seeing people have those aha moments. We're going to share some of those today, a little bit more tomorrow. Yeah, 75 in school got me here, Edie. What do you mean? I know math. Yeah. No judgment. You get where you get. It's good. It's solid. And we're glad you're here with us, Matt. It's so good. I'm going to share my screen here for a minute, tell you a little bit more about me. So get to learn little things about all of us here. But a little bit more about me as your MC today. I have a husband and 3 kiddos, an awesome husband, 3 kiddos. I've also got 2 dogs, a cat, 2 frogs, a fish, and a lizard. We are menagerie. We're like a zoo over here in more ways than one, you guys. My kids are at home today. It's obviously a school day, and you all are going to be grateful for that. But that being said, if you have kiddos home with you, if you have 4-legged friends with you, we welcome them. We know that people show into Zoom, so never feel like, oh my gosh, these things are happening. We love all of those special guests at BDG. I once rafted the Nile in Africa, and I almost didn't make it. So I'm really glad that I'm here with you today. It's one of the coolest and dumbest things I've ever done. As a firstborn child, I don't really do things like that, but I did, and I probably will never do it again. I've also dressed up as a Southwest Airlines plane, stood next to the former CEO on stage. There was a period in my life when I interned in the Southwest Airlines marketing department, feeling the love there, and one of the kind of hazing activities was like, well, intern, you're gonna dress up as the giant plane, like you couldn't even see my face. So that was a special moment for me. I love being with people. It is one of my joys in life to be able to share small moments in your journey. Like, I just love it. I love making big things happen. It is one of my favorite things to be a tiny, tiny part of. We talked about this a lot. Brain Builders Group is really big on community. Really love when those connections happen. We love to make big things happen for you. And this is just the start of that. So it's a little bit about me. I am going to introduce here to you all of our incredible strategists here at the Brain Builders Group. You will see some of them here in this space today, but this is everyone. I'm gonna stop for a moment here, and I'm gonna allow everyone to just say a couple of things. Just welcome people, maybe where you're from, strategist, and so everyone sees your face and knows who you are. So let's kick it off. Kristen,
Hello, everybody. I am from Michigan and so happy and excited to work with all of you on finding your brand DNA. Mwah!
Amazing. Trey.
Hey everyone, I'm Trey. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am pumped up and ready to get creative and find some clarity around all of y'all's brand DNA. I've got Gary, Haley, Kara, and Rachel in my group. Let's go.
Awesome. Risha.
Hello, good morning. Coming at you live from sort of the Nashville, Tennessee area. And I'm excited to really set the foundation of your brand. And I'm working with Matthew and Michelle, Nick Lupke and Tim Washer, and Michelle Kuhn.
Awesome. Love that. All right, Larissa.
Good morning, everyone. I am from Texas, but I am now zooming in from Nashville because I moved here to be closer to the BMG team. I'm very excited for Brand DNA. It's always fun. It's where people maybe get a little bit emotional, find some clarity, get excited. So it's always an interesting day. I will be working with Jamie M, Jasmine J, Jessica Goldberg, and Kara K. So if you're in my room, we'll get to hang out all day.
Awesome. Love that. Matt.
Good morning, everyone. Checking in from New York City. Really excited to be building the foundation today with Nancy, Angela, Jennifer, and Robbie.
Nice. Matt. All right, Brandon.
Just dropped everyone's names in the chat. I'm working with Danny, Jessica, Mitch, and Nicodemus today. I am a client turned strategist, and I drank the Kool-Aid and I went all in. I moved from Orlando to Nashville. And I've been where you are. So I've gone through brand DNA myself. I know how much of a lift that is, and I'm really excited to work with everyone today and get extra clear on where we're going from here.
Awesome. I know Brandon was moving during the last event. He's just had a lot going on, but glad he did drink that Kool-Aid. He's there.
Elizabeth, I'm going to butt in just because I failed and didn't say my names. I did put them in the chat, but I'm with Fia, Aaron, Heather, and Tammy and Michelle.
Awesome. Love that. Thanks, Kristen. Casey, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. Casey Dowdell here, hailing from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm very excited that Brandon is here because he is a wakeboard instructor, and there's no doubt we will be in the water this summer. So Brandon, let's go ahead and schedule that. More importantly, brand DNA is something that I never tire of. I absolutely love it. Ever since Amy Love Valley helped me find my brand DNA, I have just been totally in love with this process. So I will be working with Davidson Hang, Jane Birch, John Ramstead, and Mike Stodola.
Awesome. Love it. All right, Steph.
Hey y'all, Steph Jack here, and I'm so excited to get really clear on what is your North Star, which is your brand DNA, and it's going to make everything so seamless, so smooth. So I'm excited to dive into this, and today I am working with Jordan Freed and Madison, Laura Sinclair, Shayna and Vanessa, and Tavia Gilbert. So let's go.
Love it. Jay.
What's up, brand builders? My name is Jay, coming to you from Nashville. One of the crew, and one of my favorite memories growing up is standing at the cottage on the lake on a clear blue sky day, because it's a cottage in northern Ontario where I grew up. The water was not blue, but it certainly was clear and smooth. And today and tomorrow, that's what the process of what we're going to be doing is taking your brand and making it clear and smooth. Joining me today in my breakout room will be Lena Bakshi, Travis Smith, Sunita Sa, and Jordan Berry. I'm really looking forward to meeting you.
Man, Jay is like radio host extraordinaire. That was just as smooth as that water you just talked about. I'm really impressed, man. Way to go. All right, Amy LaValle, follow that.
How do I follow that? Wow. As I look out my window, no. So I'm Amy. I live in Miami. I can look out my window and see water, which is awesome. But no, one of my favorite things about brand DNA is that it is the sales tool that informs every other part of your brand. There's going to be times today, tomorrow, where you're like, what the heck are we doing this for? Why does this matter? I promise you, this being clear makes the rest of your brand clear, not only to you, but to everyone else. So trust this process. There is going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be everything in between, but it is worth it, and it is going to give you the clarity that you need to move forward. So today I'm working with Deborah, Melissa, Michelle, and Shanera, and we're going to have some fun.
Amazing, Amy, that's so great. A good reminder that this truly is the best sales tool you could ever have. And it takes a minute to get there to be like, how in the world is this a good sales tool for me? I'm doing a lot of thinking, a lot of emotional thinking, all of these pieces. You guys, we're gonna show you exactly how that works, and it is a game changer for sure. All right, Bree, let's hear from you next.
Hi guys, I'm Brianna. I am holding down our Florida team strong with Amy in Fort Lauderdale. Some of us are moving away in Brandon. Not happy about that, but it's cool. Nashville can have you. I love Brand DNA. Brand DNA is one of my favorite curriculums to teach. This is where we set the foundation for how you support and change your small piece of the world. This is one of the best. This is one of the best curriculum. So, in my room today, I will have Eric Sorrento. Please forgive me if I pronounce that wrong. Aaron Trier, Hannah Gray, and Molly Rodham.
Awesome. All right, and then let's round it out with Olivia.
Morning, guys. I'm Olivia. I am also part of the Florida crew. I'm in Tampa, Florida. Chicago native, but I am a full-on Florida girl. And I am going to be working with Keisha, Christine, Leanne, and Lori. And I just dropped your names in the chat.
All right, awesome. So you have had a chance to meet at a really high level our amazing strategist team. You guys, I'll tell you what, these people are second to none. You will notice something really unique about Brand Builders Group. We don't have like 100 coaches, 100 strategists that we're just kind of randomly assigning to you. We have really selected the best of the best and gone so deep with them. You guys, they are in trainings with Rory Vaden several times a month, just getting deeper, learning more. So you guys are in such great hands. I'm excited for you to just grow after your time with them today and tomorrow. I'm going to share, put my screen again really quickly because I would be remiss. I think I'm becoming known as the customer journey gal. You guys are probably like, Elizabeth, if you talk about customer journeys one more time, you know, I might, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But I promise you guys, we say it a lot because the human brain, it takes 7 times for something to stick, like on average. For me, it probably takes more like 20, right? Kids just suck the brain out of you sometimes, right? And all the parents in the room, you're like, yes. So you're gonna hear this quite a bit, right? The customer journey. Almost every single one of you in this room should have filled out and declared, kind of like a major, your customer journey. These are so important because it not only helps you stay on the straight and narrow, right? Not running around like a squirrel getting distracted. It helps the strategists that you either work with monthly or in these events or at trainings understand where you're going, you know, where you're going and what you're at right now. But it also allows you to do the right thing at the right time in the right order. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. How many of you all have come into Brand Builders Group saying, I have done the right things. I have just clearly not done them at the right time or in the right order. And that has cost me time. It has sometimes cost me money, which is like, no bueno. You know, it cost me emotional, you know, anxiety and support, all of those different things. Yeah, that's you, Travis. Yeah, too many things. Yes, for sure. And so this is the real point and the real focus of declaring that, right? We want you to do the right thing at the right time in the right order. And we're here to make sure that happens. So all of you have seen our wheel, our 4 phases of brand development. Those really go, for all intents and purposes, in order. It makes sense. Branding, marketing, selling, scaling. So many of you all look at this and go, well, I've done all these things. Well, great. I'm glad you've done it for your business. I can almost guarantee you haven't done everything in the right order with as much hyper intensity for your personal brand. And that is what you're here to do as a member of Brand Builders Group. But what we found is that it's not sequential and that everyone's goals are different, right? The thing that you're running after with full focus, that one thing that you want to be known for, it looks a little bit different for everyone, as it should. And so we've identified really 4 main journeys here that allow you to do the right thing at the right time within our 4 phases of brand development. That's professional speaker, author, lead gen, and new revenue stream. I would love for you all to put in the chat if you have declared this, if you know what your customer journey is, if you will type it in the chat. That would be amazing just for everyone to see, because another great thing about knowing your journey is finding other people who are on the same journey too. Brand Builders Group is huge when it comes to relationships and connection. Our forums in our new app are based around these customer journeys. We want you guys networking with other people that want to be professional speakers, other people that are on the author path. So take a look. Look at this chat and see, where are my lead generation people at? What are the
Uh-oh, did I lose internet?
doesn't mean you're not speaking if you're on the author journey, right? It's just those things that support where your focus, energy, and attention is going. If you are on the professional speaker track, that means you are already speaking. This is something you are doing, right? You are on stages, you just want to be on bigger stages or more niche stages, right in front of the ideal audience. Some of you want to increase your speaking fees. You're like, this is my focus. I want to be a speaker. This is what I want to do with my personal brand. Great. That is the track you are on. Authors, this is a really important one. As of right now, you will only declare this major of being an author if the runway to publishing your book is short. I.e., you're not coming in and saying, I've always had it as a goal to write a book. It is on the horizon for me, it's coming, but it's not there yet. It's one of my dreams. We want that for you too, and when it's time for you to switch to the author journey, we are going to support you and tell you when that time is right. But for most people on the author journey, you're writing your book, it's with an editor, you have a pub date, right? You are moving towards the publication, sale, and marketing of that book. Lead generation, this is for a lot of people in professional services. This is for someone that has a business. It is thriving. You are wanting to just leverage who you are to drive more leads, to drive more traffic, right? You're saying, I founded this business, or I'm an executive at this company, or I've been pushing this product and service on my own for so long. I'm really needing to level up. I'm really needing to build trust faster with who I am to drive more people to my brand or business. And the new revenue stream are people that are building something from scratch, from the ground up, something different than what you have been doing. Most likely you have not been paid to do this, right? Or if you have, it's been like here and there, and you're like, is this a business? Can I do this? So this is where that focus is going. I'm building this business from scratch. And every single journey has different topics of interest and where you focus. You'll see everyone's DNA, everyone's Capcom across the board. Those are the first two. And then they change up a little bit. So it's really important for you guys to know your journeys and to follow them, the right thing, the right time, and the right order. You'll see there that that's kind of year one of your journey. Some of you might go, Elizabeth, I want to move faster than that. That's great. A majority of you guys, almost everyone in Brand Builders Group, when we ask them, hey guys, how fast do you want to go? 99.9% of you say as fast as humanly possible. And that is the soul and the spirit of an entrepreneur, right? Am I right? We want that for you too. We tell people to go as fast as they can, but as slow as they have to, right? We want you to do it right? But we want you to move. We want you to go. And so looking at that as a year-long journey, it can go a little bit faster, a little bit slower. There's no right or wrong. It's totally up to you. And we're here to help kind of bounce those back and forth and make sure you're on the right trajectory. All right. What I'm going to do here in just a second is I'm going to send you guys to your breakout rooms for about 10 minutes to get to know each other. Your strategist has some questions that they are going to use and share with you to help you guys get to know each other in those small group rooms, because you will be working together all day today and all day tomorrow. But this is a little bit about how today and tomorrow are going to go. We will hit every single pillar of finding your brand DNA, core target audience, problem and cause, message uniqueness, etc., etc. We will come in the main room for some high-level teaching. By high level, I mean 10 minutes. All of you, or most of you, should have started watching Finding Your Brand DNA course in the app. This is just helping to give you context, to give you something to springboard off of. I'm just going to reiterate from a super high level the mistakes people commonly make around the certain topics we have, the mindset shifts that need to happen, and the methodology, what you guys are going to be working on in your group. So there's going to be some super high level teaching, and I'm going to send you back to your small group rooms to focus on each pillar, right? This is going to be your time to work with your roundtable host strategist to kind of go through some of those exercises. Am I on the right track? Does this feel right? Other small group members, like this is going to be an amazing time for you to contribute, right? To help, to really support people in building their brand. In fact, you know, we have some small group expectations that we really, really want you to take seriously and take to heart. We want you to be present. Like one of the greatest things is to have other entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that are a little further ahead, maybe just starting in the same room together. We'd love for you to keep your video on when you're in your small group room, right? We know that the more engagement is there, the further along you will move, right? It's just so helpful. Stay engaged, participate, share your perspectives. Your roundtable host is going to really create time for that. Have an attitude of service and giving. Like I know that some of you have been in this business for years and some of you are just starting. Our mantra at Brand Builders Group is to help everyone, because we know no matter if you're starting right away or have been in it for years, everyone has something to offer. It might not be apparent at the beginning, but it is there. So I really want you guys to approach your time from a position of service. That would be amazing. All right, so I'm going to open small group rooms. Strategist, I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes to do intros, 10 to 12 minutes, and then we're going to come back into the main room and kick it off with core target audience. So that being said, everyone, we're going to work on joining breakout rooms now. So the way that this is going to work, I'm going to open these rooms. You each have the ability to join a room on your own. You don't need for us to send you. If you need help, we will do that. When I push open all rooms, what you will do is look at your screen. In the far right-hand corner, you will see more with a ... with an ellipses. Does everyone see more with a ... on your screen? You might not yet until I open it, but it is there. When you see it, you will click on it. There. Casey has fireworks. That's great, Casey. I'm glad you're excited. You're going to click on those 3 dots. And it is going to give you the option for breakout room. You're going to push that and it's going to pull up the breakout rooms in a second, not now. And it's going to have a blue button that says join. That is what you need to push to join a room. Zoom's been getting a little tricky with us on this. It used to go really smooth. The last couple of times it's been a little clunky, but we're going to get you where you need to go no matter what. But that is the general way to get to a breakout room. So everyone has the capability and ability to do that. All right, I'm going to open breakout rooms. I'm going to put 12 minutes on the clock. I'm going to put 15 in case it takes us a minute to get there. I don't want you guys to feel rushed. I'm going to open all the rooms, and when I do that, I'm going to list out, just in case you forgot, even though it's in the chat, where people are going. So strategists, are you ready? Everyone's ready? All right, here we go. Here goes nothing. Okay, rooms are open. So if you guys see that little ellipses and you know what room you're going to, you can join. But I'm going to list everyone off. Amy's room, Deborah Winters, Melissa Cancio, Michelle Bowes, and Shanera Williamson.
Let's go. Hello.
Hi there.
Cowboy Casey, what? I'm so lucky. I get you twice. Oh, you're on mute.
Hi guys, will you guys pardon me for just 1 second? AJ is calling me.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, AJ?
What's up?
What's up, David? How are you, Jane?
I'm good. How are you, John?
Good. Where are you guys in the world?
I'm in Paris.
Oh, wonderful. You got a late night then, huh?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, and I got the hour wrong, so I'll be going with you guys until midnight.
Wow.
Until midnight my time. So.
What is it? 2 p.m. there?
It's now 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Six hours, yeah, for me where I'm at. Yeah.
And where are you?
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. And John, where are you?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And Jerry is on my team, and he's in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Or actually, he's probably in Oklahoma City. I'm not sure. One of the two. He's like Jerry's the traveling man.
Excellent.
Nice.
Woo! All right. Everything's okay. Hey, everybody. When you get the call from the CEO, you're like, what? Do I pick it up? Do I send it a voicemail?
It's either usually really good or really bad, Casey.
Yes. It's like, hey, you're getting a raise, or well, good morning, everyone. I know we've greeted briefly via email, but I'm thoroughly excited to work with all of you today. I know John, I know Davidson, Jane, pleased to meet you, and Jerry, nice to meet you, sir.
Jerry's on my team, so I asked him to join because he knows everything about what we're doing and where we're going intimately. So it's great to have a second set of eyes on this process.
Oh, great, fantastic. All right, man. All right, we get like 2 for 1, double the benefit here. That's great. Well, I'd love to get to know you guys a little bit here. Let me pull up my little cue card. I got one pulled up here, but I like to go above and beyond here because I think that it's really nice when we can kind of break the ice and get to know each other, because it just makes for a much better 2 days, in my humble opinion. Let me get this. All right. All right, share my screen with you guys. All right. Okay, so would love to know how you heard about BBG. Tell us your vision for your personal brand, your number one goal that you have set out to accomplish in the next 90 days, and I would love to know your favorite movie. We're gonna keep it PG. So favorite movie, all right? Favorite movie. So I'll just go left to right according to how my screen goes here. So John, would you like to go first?
Yeah, well, I've known Rory for since Procrastinate on Purpose came out. He reached out to me to be on my podcast. And we just hit it off, and we've known each other through NSA. And then when I was really kind of relaunching, or I guess this new focus on my business, how to rebrand the business, kind of redo the keynote and write a second book, a good friend of ours, Mark Sanborn, who is the president of NSA, said, hey, what Rory's doing at Brand Builders is totally legit. If you're going to be doing this, you need to hire him. He goes, just stop wasting time. So that's how I kind of reconnected to BBG. What was the second question, Casey?
Tell us the vision for your personal brand.
I think the vision is really to create a movement around how business and entrepreneurship are done. So our passion is to help companies double their profitability and their value of their company in the first year, while totally up-leveling their culture where every employee there is thriving, and bring a spirit of generosity into the companies we work with. Our dream is that everybody actually starts giving 10% of their top line revenue into causes that are right around where their company is headquartered, because it's not going to be solved unless we get involved. A lot of these challenges we see day to day. So that's the vision.
Man, that's awesome. So essentially it is a tithe to the community to like a specific cause. They pick a cause, you guys have a list of causes. How does that work?
It would be completely co-created and sourced by that organization. What are they passionate about? What would get their people involved? Right? I think it'd be really cool to see, the vision and mission of the organization tied into each employee's personal vision and mission, and then also how we can show that how we can actually do good in our community. So it could be, single, one of the things I support are, inner city education. We're family generation. Another one I support is a charity for single moms below the poverty line, because there's something called the poverty cliff. They literally are stuck because of legislation. They just cannot get a leg up in life, and they need a lot of help. They're in
they're in hard situations. But whatever the cause is that organization kind of coalesces on, I think that just helps enhance a great culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we know the principles of giving and receiving, so that would no doubt benefit the company big time. Thank you, John. And favorite movie?
Oh, many. Okay, let's just go.
We're not gonna say Top Gun, are we?
Just make it easy, Casey. Both of them, by the way.
Did you just drink out of your Top Gun cup?
This is actually from a friend of mine I had on my podcast who is the lead solo for the Blue Angels. So, yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you drank out of your Top Gun cup, and that was about to be the coolest move ever.
I have one, but you know what? I didn't want to go overboard.
At some point, you guys will probably hear John's story. I don't want to ruin it, but he does. He is affiliated with Top Gun, so cliffhanger if that comes up. So Davidson, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah, excited to be here. I heard about I met Rory at he was doing a speaking engagement with the Summit of Greatness with Lewis Howes. I think that was 2 years ago. And his storytelling was phenomenal. So that was when I was first introduced to him. And then about a year ago, a year and a half ago, I hired Ian Cognac, who went through the whole, who's been a part of this community for quite some time. And he's my coach, and he's made multiple millions of dollars transitioning from tech sales to being a coach for tech sellers, SaaS, more specifically like SaaS sales. So he recommended for me to join this community. It's been amazing. Definitely has exceeded my expectations. And my vision for my personal brand. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna continue to publish more books. I have 4 books out, 1 on the way. So my goal is to have at least 50 books. Be a prolific writer. Get to 1 million subscribers. I'm about 700,000 on YouTube right now, so grow that. Continue on my LinkedIn journey. Close to get to 20,000 followers. I'm at like 19,000 right now. So I want to build that. So I want to continue on that content creation journey, right? Make money, monetize, be a speaker, New York Times bestseller. I have a journey, or my mission is 100 million lives impacted. So I have a lot of goals, and I think you guys are going to be a big part of helping me reach these goals for sure.
100 million lives impacted.
Yep.
Wow. That's huge, man. I love that. That's a big, audacious goal.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's a ripple effect as well, but I have no doubt I'll be able to, it's hard to quantify now, but, I'm roughly impacting about 10 million lives, I would say, just from the social media channels. So, that will grow as I grow, and I'm more concise, and I can be able to be more clear in my messaging for sure.
Yeah, and then what is the big impact that you want to have on them?
Just to I think we're all our own worst critic, right? So just to be able to tell ourselves a much more empowering story.
Yeah, got it. Favorite movie?
I really like this is so unfortunate that he passed away, the Heath Ledger Batman movie. I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, John.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Yeah.
Classic Batman right there. I can't do the other guy's Batman. They got 2 new guys as Batman. I'm like, no, Christian Bale's like top Batman.
Yeah, I agree.
Robert Pattinson, I think, tried Batman, and then the guy that, anyways, we'll move on. Thank you very much, Davidson. Jane, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Tell us about you, Jane.
let's see. I heard about BBG because I listened to a lot of podcasts and particularly like Jenna Kuchner. Was it Jenna Kuchner or Mel Robbins? It must have been Jenna Kuchner that I was listening to. And I thought this was a good time. I've been with you guys for maybe 2 weeks now, so rather new on the journey. Vision for personal brand. Well, that's what I'm hoping to sort out with you people. I am originally from Chicago. I spent the first half of my career working in banking, which took me to Europe, and then eventually took me to Paris, which is where I live now. So did that for a number of years and then decided I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So I started a business here in France 15 years ago. And hence me being with you today, it's time to make a change. I'm very interested in public speaking around leadership topics, around women's leadership, around role models, personal transformation, those sorts of things. So what's the number one goal I have for myself in the next 90 days? I have a book coming out April 9th, and I'll be on a book tour in the US. Thank you. It's a memoir about moving to France and starting the business here. And I'm hoping to use that 90 days also to test my speaking voice and see what I enjoy and how I feel. So that's kind of my big goal in the next 90 days to get to get through that.
You have an exciting 90 days coming up.
I think so. And I'm very excited to be with BBG because I feel like this is a very unique moment that I may not have for a while. So I feel like it's the right time. However, Casey, you've completely stumped me on what is my favorite movie.
Oh, really?
I've been present, listening to everybody, and at the same time feeling pressure because I cannot think of a movie in particular that I really, really loved. Thelma and Louise.
Okay.
Oldie but goodie.
Was that one of Brad Pitt's first movies?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun story, and I like the end.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I was thinking maybe it would be a Parisian movie, like Chocolat or something like that, you know?
There are plenty, but Parisian movies are very heavy. They're not fun. I have yet to see a fun Parisian movie.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Do you have to smoke when you move to France?
No. Oh, wait. Who's coming to Paris? I'm trying to read the chat at the same time.
I think John's
John, looks like.
Oh my goodness, John. Yay. Okay.
Yeah, we've never been to Paris. It's been on our list forever, Jane. So.
Well, you gotta tell me when you're coming, and I'll help. I'll get you all set up.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's
and
amazing.
Davidson, you too.
Yeah, we love Paris. My wife's a big shopper, so I have a feeling we'll be back there.
Yeah, I think what was it? Bill Gates said France is a great place to spend your money. Not earn it. I won't talk to you about the tax structure either.
Oh man. And so we will. Oh, we got about 6 seconds. Whenever we come back, we'll interview Jerry thoroughly. We'll put the lamp on him, and then I'll give you a little background about me, and then we'll get to rolling. Very good. Paris is my wife's one of her favorite cities. She loves the Eiffel Tower. We've never been together as a couple yet, but she went in her younger years. So we'll make it out there probably in the next 10 years once the kids get a little bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm excited to go.
Yeah, it's
and the
fun
people that
city.
want to start smoking again. And I think I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's fine.
I feel like we're watching the clock. 10
I know.
Jerry,
Like,
Jerry,
can
are we gonna see your
a
face,
story about
Jerry?
Top Gun?
Oh, sorry.
Jerry, you got a camera, Jerry?
Oh, sorry, everyone was talking at once. Ask that again.
Oh.
So in LinkedIn, on the different channels, so if you guys, even within your small groups, but even in here, want to put your LinkedIns in the chat throughout the next couple of days, make sure we're giving everyone a good follow. That's a really helpful thing, and it shows even more support even outside of this room that we're in today and tomorrow. Welcome back, everyone. I think everyone's officially back in here. I'm going to, before I forget, I'm going to add a room for Brandon. It was here when we started and then just went away. So Brandon, you have a room now. So the next time you guys go to breakout rooms, you don't have to stay here with me. I kind of cramped your style a little bit. But everyone get to meet everyone. I know we had some people back in here, but you guys feel good about the rooms you're in, meeting new people, really aligning with goals. Some of you might have the same types of goals. So it's really great, I think, to just see other people that are on your same journey, people that are doing exactly what you're doing, that have those same goals and those same big things that you're running at. So really excited that you guys had the time to connect. It's one of the best things we do here, and we do it very well. Right, I'm gonna kick off our time today, and we're gonna just dive right in to core target audience. Now we start with core target audience at Brand Builders Group for a very important reason. Simon Sinek had, kind of his big thing, start with why. You guys might have heard about that before, or read his books or followed him. And we're all about that, right? Really identifying the why behind what you're trying to create, what you're trying to put into the world is really important. A lot of times we get focused on the what. Like, how are we going to make this happen? And what are we putting into the world? And what are we creating? And what is our offer structure? We get so wrapped up in the what that we forget about the why. But what we've discovered at Brand Builders Group is the thing that we know when you start with this hyper-focused piece of building your personal brand, it changes everything else. And that is the who. And what we have realized is for several of you in this room, that your why is a who, right? Your why is a who. The reason that you have said, you know what? I want to build a personal brand. Like, I know it's important, and it's not for the faint of heart, am I right? For those of you who've been building a personal brand or trying to leverage who you are in the world, it is not for the faint of heart. You kind of feel like you're on an island sometimes. It's like me, myself, and I trying to work at this, right? But when we've identified the who, when we've shifted our position to who we're serving, it changes the game. It invites someone else into our journey. And that is really important. You don't feel as alone. And when you can identify the person's life you're trying to change, right? And that just might be through providing better service or more quality products, right? When you identify the person whose life you want to change, everything looks a little bit different. You have a whole new perspective, right? It's not so much, well, I'm really focused on me and my brand. It's focused on the other. And we have seen that when you identify that, it is a game changer. So we're going to talk about some of the mistakes, the mindset, and the methods that need to shift as you're identifying your core target audience. So during your time in your small group, you're really going to focus on a few key activities. Now, some of you all may have already started on these. So raise your hand if you're like, I've already, gotten into my repository, into the workbook, I've started all this. Awesome. I am so glad. So we will do a couple of things, kind of go down a couple of different journeys during our 2 days together. Some of you were saying, I've watched it, I haven't started working on it yet. Like, I've thought about it, but I haven't put pen to paper. I'm not quite there. That's okay too. You are going to spend these next 2 days creating, right? You've watched it, you have some context. We're going to help you create and identify and name. For those of you who have already done some of this work, we're going to spend these 2 days auditing. We're going to make sure that this is right, that it feels polished, that it feels aligned, and that it feels good. We're going to give you feedback of saying, we're almost there, but do you see where we might need to shift something here, right? So you're either going to be creating, auditing, or a little bit of both. Both are great, and we expect both to happen during our time today. But you're going to work on that avatar persona. Like, what is that one sentence descriptor of the individual human being you are running after with focus? You're going to talk a little bit about demographics and psychographics. What are the things that make up this person so that we can speak to them in marketing, so that we can sell to them accurately? We're going to create an avatar story. We leverage this in a way that helps you stay on the straight and narrow. I'm going to tell you exactly how you leverage an avatar story, which for some people feels like, why am I writing this? I'm telling you, it's good for focus. And then you're also gonna work, in addition to that primary audience, you're gonna build out your secondary and tertiary audiences. So that is what you're gonna spend time doing in your small group during our morning session. But really, one of the mindset shifts, and I've already talked about this, is you don't find your purpose by asking, what should I do? You find your purpose in life by asking, who should I serve? So though it is such a mindset shift, especially for a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a business owner, where you have literally had to create revenue and income by saying, okay, what do I do? What do I do? How do I need to create this? And what do I need to create? And what's my offer structure? And what are the ads I need to buy? Or what's the marketing I need to put out into the world? That is all well and good. But if we are not discovering our purpose and our why by asking who, like, we're missing the mark, right? We're missing the mark. So this is a big mindset shift, especially for the entrepreneur, in really thinking through what we're starting with. And we're starting today with who. The other big mindset shift, and this happens for some of you more easily than others, some of you really identify this with this, some of you are like, nah, not quite, that's okay. I like to think of identifying that individual human being that you want to full on focus, all cylinders firing in that direction, run after in one of two ways. The first is the fact that some of you will resonate with this in a really powerful way, that you are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. For those of you who watch Rory's course, he tells a story about writing to his brother, writing to one person, kind of figuring out like who he's most powerfully positioned to serve and how he puts that into the world. This might identify with you all 150%. You might say, oh my gosh, this brand that I'm building is for me 6 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That makes so much sense that you're kind of the Yoda. Like, you're kind of the wise one in this area, that you have been there and done that. And I want you to hear me. A lot of people get tripped up in the fact of saying, well, sure, but I haven't really figured it all out yet. I still struggle with this. It still kind of throws me for a loop at times. I'm not asking you to be on the other side of it 100%. I don't know if anyone ever really gets there. But what I am telling you is you have done the work. You have figured out how to get to the other side of what you struggled with in the past, and you are very well positioned to help someone else do that just as well. So a lot of people really resonate with, gosh, I'm so powerfully positioned to serve who I once was. When I struggled with this thing, now I'm on the other side of it, and I know exactly how to get here. I can teach someone else how to do that, or create an offering that does that for them. So this is one kind of way that people can think about this. Some of you might be saying, that's not really hitting for me. I'm not really sure about that yet. I'm still kind of trying to get there. That's okay. The other thing I tell people when I say identify that one person you want to serve, sometimes it helps for me to ask you to think about former clients, former people you've worked with in any capacity in your life that you say, man, if I had 500 more of this individual to work with, if that was the only type of person I worked with and served on a daily basis, my life would be amazing. I would serve them well. They would be so receptive to it. They would grow. Their life would change. I know we all have that person, right? Of oh my gosh, this was my favorite person to work with of all time. Sometimes that helps jog your memory of if I had 500 more of this person coming to me, life would be awesome. So I'm really urging you to think through which one resonates with you more, and maybe it's a little bit of both. And I also tell people during the exercise, you may take two people and merge them together to create one ideal person. That's fine too. But I like you guys to go into these exercises thinking of that person really specifically. I want you to answer all of your questions and do all of your brainstorming around that individual. If it was you, from the past, or someone completely different. So that's really important, is to really hyper focus. We're gonna walk through demographic and psychographic exercises when it comes to your core target audience. People get tripped up on this in particular a lot, the demographics. Now, for those of you who've been in business, you understand, whenever we do, search, whenever we're doing Facebook ads, the more specific, the more terrific. If we can really hone in on these things, life's gonna be pretty good. We're gonna make sure we're hitting the right people in the right areas. Yes, and for those of you who are like, I don't understand why this really matters, because Elizabeth, like, I serve 30-year-olds, but also 50-year-olds come to me too. Like, I really don't want to narrow it down. We are going to ask you to narrow it down. It doesn't mean you don't, if you're like, okay, fine, I'll go with 30 to 40-year-olds, but 6-year-olds still come to me. Great, they still will, right? And we're going to get to that in a second. But really narrowing down these pieces is key. Geography, for example, I like to use this as a great example of being so specific. I don't want you to say, you really, speak to people, in the United States of America. Like, that's too general. I want you to say, I really, like, my ideal avatar comes from, the big cities, New York, LA, Dallas, the big cities in the United States. Here's why. People's purchasing power and what they resonate with in New York is really different from Albany. Am I right? So when you say, like, I speak to people in the Northeast, it's not being specific enough, right? Like, people are more apt to spend more money in certain, geographical areas. They value things differently. So that is what I say. Or the guy living in the van down by the river. Yes, Brandon, everyone has different needs and different desires. So all of these might not apply to you, but I do want you to really think about them. Don't discount them and be like, no, I don't want to do that. Or like, I serve men and women. Like, this is ridiculous. Why would you make me choose? I'm going to get there in just a second, okay? The other piece, which I do want you to focus on more than not, is psychographics, right? This is what brings your different audiences, primary, secondary, and tertiary, together. This is the through line. This is the through line for the people that say, dang it, Elizabeth, don't you dare make me pick between a man and a woman. That is just terrible that you would make me do that. This is what binds all of those audiences together, right? Because what does this person care about? I want you to really think about it. And if it's your past self, what did you really care about in that moment, in that time of your life? What do they want versus what do they need? What are they searching for? What are their limiting beliefs, right? Really think about these things. What questions does this person need answered? We take those, this is where I want you to really brainstorm these. We turn those questions into content, right? When we move into captivating content, we're taking all these questions, you're like, why am I coming up with all these questions? And we leverage it, right? People want and buy into questions that you answer. So all of these pieces are gonna help tie everything together, because if this is a woman who's 50, maybe this is a woman who's 20 to 30, and these are men and women, here's what ties everything together, is the psychographics. Every single one of your audiences should be similar in the way that you answer these things. This is what's going to tie everything together. And you are going to market with your copy and with the way that you're selling to people, leveraging the psychographics, right? That is what is going to not stop, someone that's 20 years older than your avatar persona from engaging with you and potentially buying from you, okay? So don't be afraid of narrowing it down, because we know when you aim small, you miss small. This is the biggest obstacle people face during this section, is really, really narrowing it down to one person here in the middle, okay? I want you to really work at that, and your strategists are gonna support you in that. One of the exercises you're also going to create is the perfect avatar. This is a template. So filled out all the way, there is an E there, I promise we know how to spell. An avatar template. This is helpful in determining your avatar story. Why in the world, Elizabeth, would I spend the time to fill in these gaps and create an avatar template story? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I will tell you. The reason that we do that is so that we don't become squirrels that chase millions of different types of people, right? When you write that avatar story and you get specific, I want you printing it out, I want you putting it by your computer. I want you putting it wherever it is that you work. Because whatever you create, whether it's an offer structure, or a new course, or a keynote, or a blog post, or a social post, if you read that story and you look at that offering and you say, I don't really know if this person would engage with that, then we have to start over. We have to look a little bit, we have to polish it more, right? We have to take the time. And that is what's gonna keep you on the straight and narrow. Because if I know one thing about almost every single person in this room, and it is a superpower, right? Of having lots of ideas and being able to pivot really quickly and creating something for one audience and then another, right? And eventually, that's gonna be where you are. But for now, the more specific, the more terrific. Focus is important. And you can do it. We believe in you. We've seen people who've been like, no way, Elizabeth, I'm not narrowing it down, make me. And then over time, they're like, okay. Like, you're gonna get there, and we're here to help you. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a couple of hours on the clock. We are gonna work from 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to noon. At noon, we will take a lunch break. It will be open lunch for all of you guys. You guys can, mute your screens and turn them off and all of that good stuff and go grab lunch, or whatever time it is for you, whatever you need to do for that hour. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time will be a break. Then we'll come back and dive into other content curriculum. But I am going to open up all of the breakout rooms. Brandon, I see yours, so you are good to go. I'm gonna put 122 minutes on the clock. It makes me do the math. I'm gonna open all the rooms. You're gonna go back to the room you were just in, except unless you were in Brandon's room, you got your own room now. So congratulations. I will see you back in here at noon, where I will dismiss for lunch. Good luck, you guys. Have a great morning session.
Well, Jane, did you change your name?
Oh, you know what? I was having problems and I had to log off and
Okay.
jump on again. And yes, I've not had any other change besides that.
Casey, you're mute.
You can't, yeah.
So quiet in here. Jane, were you asking a question before we got pulled back to the room?
Yeah, I want to hear about Top Gun and John.
You guys get your popcorn.
I just, you just left us with that, and now.
All right, here's the quick story. We can share more later, but I was in college on a Navy ROTC scholarship going into my junior year when the movie came out. And so it was a crazy time, and I applied, and I'll never forget, our class officer said, hey guys, just to set expectations, everybody's trying to apply into flight school because it's so popular. Only 1 in 10,000 people is going to get to fly a jet. So I was pretty freaked out. I'm like, I'm not a 1 in 10,000 guy. And my dad gave me some of the best advice ever, Jane, is, you know what, when you get down there, there's going to be somebody, everybody else is talking about, a student who's crushing it. And go buy him a beer and see if he'll tell you what he's doing, because he's doing something different. And I found that guy, and he became a mentor of mine, and I ended up graduating #1 in my class because of his mentorship.
Wow.
So I got to get into jets, and then I went through jets, and I got orders to fly the F-14 Tomcat. And then, so this is my plane, and I got to fly the F-14 in Desert Storm, so I did 2 combat tours in Iraq, and then went back for Operation Southern Watch, and then when we got back, I was stationed in Japan, and then I got orders to go to Top Gun. And so then, believe it or not, 3 days after I got the orders to go to Top Gun, I was playing softball, and I had a freak accident, got hit in the eye with a line drive, and had some nerve damage. So, and so I lost my medical, so I went and instructed on the ground at Top Gun trying to get my eye resolved, but it did not. And then, so I had to get out. So it was not on my own terms. So it was, but it was an amazing almost 8 years of my life. It was incredible, and I'm very, very grateful I got to do it. And I could tell you stories about that airplane and my life in the cockpit for the next probably 2 hours if you wanted, but it was amazing. So
That is amazing. So you'll have to come to Paris to finish off those stories.
I definitely, and then you can show us all that, and we'll buy you a great dinner and get to know you. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, so Top Gun really exists, and John really did get invited to come and teach.
Yeah.
Wow. It's incredible.
Crazy. But that's a tip of the iceberg to his full story. No,
there's more.
God, Jerry, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? Would you like to do a little brief introduction, sir? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Garrett texted me that he had a 9 o'clock meeting. He's still handling some of our client calls today and tomorrow, so
Okay.
he might just be on another call somewhere for the next 30 minutes.
All right. He's juggling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a brief history about me. I've been with Brand Builders Group for about 2.5 years. I met Rory about, 8-ish, maybe 9 years ago now. And they're at the Nashville airport. My wife and I were going to Hawaii and staying in line to buy water or something, and up walks this guy in this beautifully tailored sport coat, beautifully tailored custom shirt, Vaden embroidered across the cup. And at the time I was doing business development for a custom clothier here in Nashville, and I looked at him and I thought, this is my avatar. I had no idea what that meant other than the blue guy on the screen, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is my guy. I got to sell this guy a suit. So I struck up a conversation, we got to chatting, hit it off, exchanged emails. He's like, hey, keep in touch with me. And I'm like, okay. And we did it. A couple years later, I was at the convention center, was just built here in Nashville. He and I pass each other in a back hallway. And it's like, whoa, wait, hey, you're the guy from the airport. We caught up. I go take my seat, and he ends up coming out and delivering this incredible keynote to like 800 people. And I was like, who is this Rory guy? What the heck? Who is this guy? Like, he lit my brain on fire with that keynote. And so I went up to him afterward and I said, what are you doing, man? And he said, well, I can't really talk about it right now, but keep in touch with me. And I did it. And looking back now, I can see that was when he was leaving the former and starting Brand Builders Group. So everything was kind of hush-hush. But then a couple years after that, we ran into each other again at Chick-fil-A one morning. If you could fast forward to 2021, I was consulting, making great money, living the dream. I was consulting in government relations and rodeo. And if you could not have any two polar opposite deals, those were it. So I was just called Rory and I said, hey, man, I'm living the dream, but I'm unfulfilled. What are you doing? And he said, hey, come check out Brand Builders Group. So they had an event downtown that week. I came, I gave him a hug, met AJ for the first time, sat down in Elizabeth's chair. It was a live event, right? So it was like in person. Sat down in her chair at a situation like this and listened. Felt really awkward for about 5 minutes, but then it just felt like home. So a little bit about me. They call me the saltwater cowboy. I love surfing, I love horses, and I love everything in between, and every blend possible of those two things. And I also love the Lord. So let's jump into it, shall we? We're going to go around, and I'm going to work with you guys in about 20-minute increments. And we're going to just kind of work through this process of core target audience. All right. The greatest thing we can do when it comes to our psychographics is to poll or survey our audience. Okay. So when we get into that, I know that I've talked to John about doing that. But those psychographic questions are so incredibly important because, brand DNA and even personal branding as a whole is really the fine art of communication. You can't meet new people and build a reputation without the fine art of communicating. So if we can understand their mindset, the way they think, the way they feel, their fears, their challenges, their deepest desires, what they want. When we understand all of those things from their mouth, man, we can put your brand DNA together beautifully. So if you haven't done that, it's totally cool. We'll keep tightening this down as much as possible over the next couple days. But and I can give you guys an example of what that looks like. But basically, you want to take those psychographics, rewrite them so it makes sense to your avatar, and then just send it to them and say, hey, would you mind answering this? And if you could send that to 10 people and they respond, like, you have literally unlocked, you've got a chest of gold, right? Because that is all of marketing is talking to the right person, presenting their pain, presenting what they want on the other side of that pain, and then having the right offer at the end. That is all of marketing. And we learn everything we need to learn about that. We learn it in the psychographics. A quick example of how accurate this is. 2 years ago, I surprised my wife for our anniversary with a trip to do a high ropes course. And I was really excited about this. And so halfway through, we're hanging about 50 feet above the forest floor. Our muscles are on fire. We're sweating profusely, knuckles white. And she turns to me and she says, "Why did you bring me here?" And it was only in that moment I realized I don't think she's enjoying this, right? So a lot of times we rush into a strategy without first hearing it from the horse's mouth. What do they want? What are they struggling with? So if you fast forward this past year for our anniversary, we went and got a pedicure and we saw the new Magic Mike movie. The difference in those two anniversaries is that one I guessed, and I've known her since we were 16. I should know. I knew she would love a high ropes course. One I guessed, the other one I asked. So there's some power in doing that. Let's see what's going. Checking on the chat. Cowboy Casey, yes sir, thank you. All right, so let me level set a little bit here. Some of the best coaching I have ever seen at these events has come peer to peer. So if I'm working with someone, you're encouraged to keep your camera on. You're encouraged to listen, right? And something that I'm doing with them might help solidify, or might be an aha moment, or answer a question for you. Also, if you feel like you have something that you think would really help, like, speak up, okay? Or, whenever I transition between people, you might come in and say, hey, while you guys were talking, I didn't want to interrupt, but, have you thought about this? So I just want to unlock the opportunity for you guys to coach peer to peer as well, because it's pretty sweet. Also, it helps to have a couple different viewpoints of things. So does anyone have any questions about avatar, demographics, psychographics, anything there? And you can come off with mute because I can't see everyone at the same time too.
Nothing on my end, Casey, not so far.
Not so far.
Okay, cool. Does everyone have access to their repository?
Yes.
Roger. All right, cool. Let me pull this up and we'll walk through. I'm just going to pull this up because I'm going to walk through it together for a moment. Give you guys, show you guys all the hacks here. So I'm going to use Davidson's as an example.
I need to bookmark my repository.
You need the link again?
Yeah, that'd probably be helpful. Oh wait, no, actually we bookmarked it before. Let me see if I can find it.
I think you did.
Yeah.
All right, if you need it, I got it.
SharePoint.
All right, so as we come down here and we're looking at the core target audience, the primary is, this is the person that we want an unlimited amount of these people, right? As much as we can handle. These are people that are, another way to think about them is that they are 100% in. They want everything you're doing. They want to buy everything you sell. They're going to listen to every podcast you're on. They're going to read your book, every piece of collateral. They're going to follow your social media. They are just in it to win. 100%. Your secondary audience is, I like to think they're about 75% in. Okay. They might be taking advantage of middle tier offers. They could be taking advantage of maybe they come into a high tier. They're there, they're engaging, they're a part of things, but they're not like the perfect avatar. And then the tertiary, I think of this person about 35. You know, my drawing is beautiful. 35 to 45% of the way in. They may just follow you on social media. They may, oh, thanks for drawing that in there, typing that in there. They may take advantage of your lower tier offers. You may never hear from them, but they are kind of fringe, right? And what makes them on the outside of the bullseye is maybe the problem you solve is one of their problems, but it's not their main problem. But it's maybe the thing that you do is an interest, but it's not their top interest. Okay? The other reason is that, you know, if you have a $10,000, you know, annual mastermind retreat, they may be like perfectly positioned to be there, except they can't afford that, right? So they might subscribe to like a community or something like that. That's a little lower tier. So, any questions about how the core target audience breaks down?
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so we got demographics. That's pretty simple. You know, Elizabeth does a great job of explaining this. I won't repeat anything here, but people do make different buying decisions based off of their demographics, you know, and we can't have a champagne service selling it to people who are on a Coors Light budget, you know, so we got to make sure all that lines up too. Psychographics, very important. We talked about that. And then I'll tell you this about the avatar story. What I have done that has been a nice little cheat code here for Brand DNA is I'll copy and paste the demographics and the psychographics and my brand positioning statement in Brand DNA. And then I'll say, take this information and put it into this template. And then I'll copy and paste this template. And what comes out is usually pretty spot on. It needs a little tweaking, a little edit, but what used to take, 45 minutes to an hour to write out your avatar story now is done in like 10 to 15 minutes. So that's a little cheat code there if you choose to utilize that. So I'll start and go around and just kind of start working with everybody one-on-one. Does anyone have any questions or needs before we get started?
This is awesome. I'm so excited.
Dude, I love your energy, Davidson.
I know.
This is amazing.
Davidson is awesome.
I'm sure we'll get a lot from listening to each other's too. So this is gonna be yeah.
You seen the Lego movie, Davidson?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, everything is awesome. Oh, you gotta see it, dude. Just look at the "Everything Is Awesome" song from Lego movie.
Okay, that sounds like my theme song.
Yeah.
Everything is awesome. I love that.
Dude, I think you guys are all great. Davidson, you and Skylar, you're like pouring out like, I don't know what it is. Is it charisma? Is it excitement for life?
I just love this stuff. Like, if it's every day I could just be doing stuff like this, like, this is the dream,
Awesome. Well, now accepting applications for the next brand strategist. No, I'm just kidding. We get to do this every day. We do love it.
That's awesome.
It fires us up. It really does. All right. So and the other thing too is that like last time we were together, like Davidson and I role played a sales training,
Oh, yeah.
and he showed me his website, and then afterwards I told him, you know, I gave him some like commentary on ways he could make his website better, and even in the face of constructive criticism, he had the same attitude. So, way to go, man! All right, so I'm gonna put a timer up. If I did things my way, we'd be on island time and we wouldn't have a timer. But nevertheless, I've got to put up a timer. And then, what is the other thing? Yeah, I'll try. If we're right in the middle of something and the timer goes off, I'm not going to just, cut it high and dry. We'll just finish out that thought or that breakthrough, and then I'll go to the next person. So let me get this bad way up here. While I'm pulling this up, does anyone have any questions about anything?
Casey, why are you so awesome?
Man, to God be the glory. I don't know. I just
Touche.
born. Do you have someone with you in your room?
Oh,
in your office? Davidson?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Why?
Do you have a stowaway? I feel like I hear someone every now and then.
Oh, it's probably the echo from the. So I know. So you know how Jay uses like a headphone.
Yeah.
I think I'll just use this so that way there's like not echo.
It's okay.
It's
I couldn't tell if there was someone. It's okay if there is. It doesn't bother me if someone else.
Well, you know how like there's like when you podcast. I didn't realize this, but Rory talks about it in his training for podcasts. How like there's like the feedback from I have the Shure mic, but you're technically supposed to use a headphone. And you know how he always tells the story about how he used these big ass headphones? I think because of that. Yeah, it's probably that's what's happening.
No worries, brother. No worries. I've almost got this timer worked out. I had to like download something and sign into Zoom. Is there anyone who is completely past core target audience already? I can't see you, so you have to speak up.
No,
You're still there, Jane?
very much.
Okay, cool. And John, you've done some psychographic work already, is that correct? If I'm remembering properly?
Yes, and I've actually interviewed two people that are my ideal client, that avatar, in the last week. So I think, and then Jerry and I actually did some really good brainstorming around this over the last couple of days, also leading up to this.
Okay, great. Yeah, and when you interviewed them, did they say anything that surprised you?
No.
No? That's good.
I mean, I've been kind of working with executives for 10 years, but I mean, I think really getting things down to what's the present felt needs right now in their life was good to refine that, right? Because it's a big list, but what are the top 2, 3, 4 things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they haven't changed much over 10 years, Casey. They're pretty consistent. What
Interesting.
High-level leaders struggle with.
Interesting. Well, it's good to know that and to have that data. I'll show you guys this real quick. This is something that was one of my clients did this in preparation for a 2-day that we did together. Get out of here. So she's an influencer. She's got like 300,000 people on Instagram. So she just put out a survey and let people, so she got a lot of responses, okay? But what happens here is, she has the different questions across the top, and then these are all the different answers she got. So what happens is whenever you have this kind of data, you can look at it side by side, and you start to see the patterns, all right? So, when it comes to starting an online business or becoming a content creator, what are your limiting beliefs? Okay, look at this. I'm not good enough. You see that? I'm not good enough. Here, this comes up again. I'm not good enough, right? you'll start to see the same thing over and over. And whenever you start to see those patterns, that's when you know, okay, this could be a potential runner-up for like a one-word problem. Okay, because
that'd be a great use of Chat GPT. You could plug that column in there and say, pull out any patterns and summarize this down into 3 one-word, like it would do that in about 2 seconds.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. I didn't even think about that. So, you know, you're looking at what is the problem that I solve. It needs to be the problem that's on their lips. It's the problem that they are aware of. It is the problem that they are, you know, talking about their friends, their spouse, their coworkers, right? So because when we speak to that problem, we want it to really we want them to hear us. Okay, so you guys are probably in your lives, you're probably all focused on maybe solving some problem in your life right now. Okay, the problem that I'm looking to solve is sleep training my 6-month-old, and potty training my 2-year-old. So when I hear, I mean, I could be at a mall and someone could say, you know, potty training from, you know, 20 yards away, and I'll hear them. Okay, so that's the power of finding the right word for the problem that you solve. So that's why the psychographics are great, because you can look at the data, look at the patterns, start pulling out words that, hey, multiple people said this same thing. I think I'm onto something there. And then, so that's the problem. They're holding it, they know about it. The cause is what's operating in their blind spot. They typically cannot see that, okay? So I just want to give you guys a little bit there when it comes to problem and cause in your brand positioning statement, because as we look at demographics and psychographics, we need to start thinking about the problem and the cause as we start working through that stuff, okay? All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go. I usually wait like 7 seconds, but no one said anything, so alright, that sounds good.
Everything is awesome! Alright, so let's go in alphabetical order then, since everyone's J's other than Davidson.
Oh yeah, everyone's J's.
We'll just go in alphabetical order today, and then we'll roll like that. All right, I'm going to jump in with Davidson. Anyone have any needs or anything before we start?
Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, as you're waiting for me, you can just be filling in that brand DNA repository, core target audience, demographics, psychographics, do your avatar story. The avatar story is also something that we look at to get a sense of course, right? Like it's the culmination of everything you've done. So the avatar story should paint a really good picture of what does a day in their life look like as it exists today in the absence of our solution, right? When that problem is swelling, what does a day in their life look like as they're living with that problem? Whew. It's like painful to think about that. So want to see that pain show up in that avatar story. We want to see the things that they want, the things they're searching for, all that goes into there. So walk through that as you're waiting on me. And then if you get that done, then move into, the cause and one-word problem section. And then just, the more you want to fill that repository out, then whenever I come around to you over the next 2 days, we'll just polish that bad boy up.
Oh, this is amazing. I can't wait to do this.
Rock and roll, man.
Let's go.
All right, let me share my screen, Davidson.
Okay.
And I've got yours pulled up here. Let me get that. Okay, so where do you want to start? Do you want to talk to me a little bit about your core target audience?
Yeah. So it's shifted, right? Because I'm trying to battle with like low hanging fruit and what everyone comes to me for versus like the people I actually want to work with. So should I provide some context first, or just talk about who I want to be working with ultimately?
Give me a little context first, because we probably need to go where our momentum is for now.
Okay.
Who's your strategist, by the way?
Jay, twinning.
Jay. Yes. Jay's my boy. All right, so just, Jay will probably have some advice on this as well, right? But I know that most of the time when people are transitioning into building their personal brand, they need to continue making money with the type of person that's already in their circle.
Okay, got it.
So just like you would change gears and let off the gas and the clutch, right? You kind of want to go, okay, who's my breadwinner right now? Like, who's paying the bills right now? Right? Let me make sure that I'm, like a water hose, right? I've got that water hose on, and I want to keep hosing them down, right? I want to keep that. I want to keep those relationships warm. I want to keep building new relationships in that pool.
Okay.
All right? Because what you don't want is to change so drastically to a different avatar.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get that momentum going and get that cash flow.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Keep the cash flow flowing good with your current avatar, and then just as time goes, just kind of level on, level up, right? You're gonna start like powering up your communication. You're gonna start powering up your content to the avatar you really want, right?
Okay.
You're gonna start powering up the content to them and engaging them, and then when you have that nice and warm, and they're starting to pop like popcorn kernels, and they want to book calls, and they want to start monetizing, then switch it on.
Okay.
All right.
So the people that are paying the bills, I've had over like 18 different jobs. So anytime someone is about to switch jobs, they call me. Like I'm like the go-to person that, oh, you're switching career paths? Call Davidson. So I get 100 of these calls in a year, probably, just because like I'm known as the guy that's like, hey, you're working at a really good company that pays really well and has amazing benefits. And then that's like what people know me for. Like I'm like, that's like the go-to, right? But as you can imagine, and sometimes some of these people, what's annoying is like I'll help them land the job, and then 6 months later they'll call me again. They're like, oh, it wasn't like a good fit, and then I'm just like, oh. So that's why I wanted to create this new community where, I realized that people making more money doesn't make them happier. Because every time I help people get like a $60,000 raise, they'll just call me back up a year from now, and then it's the same exact conversation. So that's why I'm creating this program that's more holistic and less like, I'm gonna help you make more money.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so is that's your new avatar?
So this is where, and this is funny because my cause, like when you say cause is like that's the pain, it's self-criticism. So I have a bit of imposter syndrome. I think I want to target like enterprise account executives, which are in software sales, we're making usually 200 to 300K on average. But I was never like amazing at sales. Like I was decent, but I was never like the top person. So I have a bit of imposter syndrome because like, but that's like the people I want to target because like they can afford my coaching and they're making good money, and they're usually stressed out because like their commission checks are riding on them closing a handful of large deals.
Well, you don't have to. You're not teaching them to sell, are you?
No, it would be the opposite of that. It's like everything else other than this. Like they're good at the sales part, but they need everything else basically.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about being being middle of the road salesman, because you're not teaching sales.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I guess because just for context, most of my clients now are more junior salespeople, and I am helping them with sales. That's why. So it's like half of my coaching is the career part, and then once they get the job, then they ask me to help them be able to sell. But these are more junior salespeople that are like the first 5 to 8 years of their sales careers.
Well, teach them pressure pre-persuasion.
Yeah. That's a
You
good
know what
point.
I'm saying? You can teach them the brand builders group curriculum. You know, like, and the other thing too is that I'm a soccer coach, and I might be a better soccer coach than I ever was a soccer player. It's to be determined, but this is my 3rd season coaching, and you know, I feel like I'm pretty good. And I was like right above like the middle of the road, right? I wasn't top gun, and I was probably in the 70th percentile, right? But anyway, I don't want to. If you can teach them, you know, there's not always a direct line between doing and teaching. Not always. Some people can't do and they can teach great, and some people are great doers and they can't teach for crap, right? So and just don't let that bog you down. The main thing you need to worry, I won't even say worry because that's a negative word. The main thing that you should be focused on is results and impacting their life.
Okay.
Right? If you are impacting their life.
Wait, how'd you get the balloons to just
Hey, you know, it's some Hugglepuff stuff, man. I can't reveal all my. No, it's just this. It's just a little peace sign.
Nice.
It's actually pretty annoying because when I'm talking, you know, it'll start shooting up all kinds of weird stuff. But just focus on impacting them. And here's the thing. This is a little. I'm gonna show you this because this might be good for everyone to see as well. When you guys get out of brand DNA and you get into captivating content is, you know, basically distilling your thought leadership, architecting your thought leadership, and we do it in pillars, okay? Because it's built out in sections, you can turn each pillar into a chapter in a book, a piece of curriculum and a piece of curriculum and a course. You can turn each pillar into a step in your coaching program, right? There's many different things you can do with this. You know, you'll take 2 pillars and turn them into a keynote, right? And then in the next piece of the curriculum, world-class presentation craft, we'll take 2 of those and we'll slide them right in as the body of a keynote, and then we'll craft the opening and the close. So, thought leadership, pillars. You know, this is where you can completely eradicate what I would call, you know, whenever people are like, yeah, you know, I just, when they have a little bit of imposter syndrome, this is when they can get rid of it, okay? So, the way that we teach captivating content is you have a pillar name, it's easy enough. You tell a dynamic story, and we teach you how to tell a dynamic story. Then you have a pillar point, which is like that big quotable moment. Framework is teaching an illustration or a picture or a chart or a graph. It's literally like the first time you're exposing your thought leadership in a picture form, right? I might say, hey, this is my framework for the entrepreneur's morning, right? Every morning you want there to be a beautiful sunrise, right? Every morning you want peace on the beach. You want to have you're teaching an illustration, okay? That's a framework. Then a behavior is basically the baby step action they need to take, and then the exercise is the literal exercise to build that muscle, okay?
That's cool.
All right, so like what you're doing in brand DNA over the next 2 days, that's all a series of exercises, right? So How does this overcome imposter syndrome, Casey? Well, I'm so glad you asked. When you teach a story, when you tell a story, give them a pillar point and teach a framework, you are changing the way they think. You're changing the way they think. Whenever you teach a behavior and an exercise, you are changing the way they act. In order for someone to get results or for impact to be made in their life, you have to change the way someone thinks and acts. When you do that, you will generate impact. It's all through changing their thinking and their behavior. Okay? So if you feel like you are experiencing some imposter syndrome, focus on what is their biggest need, their biggest pain point, which we're going to discover today, right?
Okay.
We're going to go through that today. What is the problem they're suffering from? And then your captivating content is how to lead them out of that suffering right into the promised land. All right? So just focus on, hey, what is it that they need? How do I help them with that? Through the way they think, through the way they are acting, through their behaviors, and then boom, they get results.
Okay.
Simple illustration of this is I was listening to this health guy, and he was walking through a food court, and I had been struggling with trying to lose that annoying 5 to 10 pounds post-COVID. I was listening to this guy talk, and he was walking through a food court. He was calling out the different things that were in the food court, and he was saying what was food and what wasn't food. And that changed the way I thought, and it changed the way I behaved, because I stopped putting certain things in my mouth that weren't food, like funnel cake or a Dorito. All right? And what happened was I got crazy awesome results where I was able to lose that weight that had been hanging on since COVID. So, thoughts and actions generate impact. All right? So, as we look at your core target audience, let's put the primary as the person that you're currently, your current client that you're currently monetizing. And let's put the secondary as like your dream.
Okay, cool.
All
That's
right?
helpful. Yeah.
And then just know, like, you're going to be pumping content to both.
Okay.
And when that top desirable audience is warm and ready and starting to monetize, then you can shift them.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
So talk to me about, like, who is this? Is this the person that you want to build an audience of?
See, like, it's tough because, like, I get a lot of referrals from, like, it's interesting because, like, what I'm getting is, like, not, like, for instance, like, for whatever reason, a lot of spouses or partners will refer their husbands to me. So I'm not sure if it's, like, because I have a lot of that feminine energy when I, like, a lot of my content. So, like, people that are struggling with finding love, like, for instance, yesterday I met with a potential client who's making a boatload of money. She makes like 600K, right? But she's struggling with, like, finding a partner. And, like, so we just talked about that. So it's interesting because I feel like what I think I help people with is different than what I end up helping them with, if that makes sense.
Hey, Davidson.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's femininity. I just think you're relatable across so many people just because of who you are. And I just see my wife and some other friends I know, they are just fierce advocates for their loved ones. And if they see their husband unhappy, or they're like, you know what, we have these goals and he just needs a pay raise, and I know it's out there for him. I've seen my wife just turn over rocks and boulders helping me in a job search and my kids. it might be something worth considering marketing to, are those people that are trying to help those folks in their circle of influence.
That's a good
you know
point.
what? If Mama Bear says, "Hey, talk to Davidson, he can help you, trust me," you're probably gonna have a good conversation, because then guess what? I know I gotta go tell Donna I talked to Davidson.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm getting dads and moms that are also referring their kids to me as well. So it is weird how it is. Often I'm getting more referrals from other people than I am from, direct marketing or whatever that term is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually your next $10,000 is coming from contacts you already have in your phone. Your next 10K or more. I mean, I've got a client, he built a 7-figure business off of just the referral, like a grassroots referral system, like old school referrals. Just called people on his phone and got introductions, and then sold them, and then got introductions. And I mean, it was just a tree of old school referral system, the thing that nobody wants to do. So.
Okay. So that's the secondary. Yeah, you're right. That would be the secondary.
So this is who you want to attract.
Yeah. Everyone that comes to me are usually orphans, people who are adopted, people who are like finding themselves, that come from like maybe they were domestically abused, they don't have a father, like people like that are the ones that for whatever reason will reach out to me through my content, and like we'll have like a really deep conversation, and they're finding themselves. They're a bit younger, like 28 to 32 usually, and they're very talented, but they're like job switching a lot. And then they make money, but then they have like trust issues. Like they think the world's like against them. So it's like some of the stuff I do is like healing work as well.
So are you essentially, they're coming to you and you're selling like a coaching program? Is that right?
Yeah, right now I just do one-on-one coaching, but I've built like half of like a program right now, so I have that as well. And then I have like a mastermind that I'm launching as well.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, I think because I'm targeting a lot more of the secondary, and I don't necessarily have a proven track record with that audience yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
In there though, Davidson, I think, would you think it'd be fair to say that these people, especially who you just described, that group, they're looking for validation of who they are as a person? They're looking for somebody to say, you know what, you're worthy of success, because they're not coming to you because they want to make more money. Yeah, that's a piece of it.
Right. Yeah.
But that's almost like what I think they need to see as the proof is, if I make more, then maybe I'm a better person. And I think speaking to that core need that is maybe driving why they're reaching out I think it has a potential to be a differentiator.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I had a client this week who was like crying hysterically because I was just like, hey, as a man, like I still love you, like you're lovable, like she still will love you, like you don't have to like get this job in order for her to love you. And he was like crying hysterically, and I was like, holy shit, like I touched the nerve with him, and I was just like, man, this is crazy that this happened.
Yeah, I think there's something in there about your language, your copy, to connect with that deep need, and that if that's the group that tends to reach out to you.
Okay.
I think we actually all have it. I have it. Right? I think we all have it at different levels. Right? We want to really be seen by other people for who we are, not what we are expected to be.
Oh, wow. That's pretty deep, damn. I think you just hit. I think that was it. It's who we are.
Yeah, again, we want to be seen for
how we truly are, or authentically are, not who we are expected to be.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
All right, so I dropped that in there. This is what we call a pillar point, you guys. So for captivating content, if you were developing a pillar around, being seen, or the motivator behind what we think, what's really motivating us versus what we think is motivating, whatever. This would be a great pillar point for if you wanted to teach that, right? So gonna drop that in there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I didn't have
John,
language
does he have
around that.
permission? John, does he have permission to use that if he?
Oh, 100%. Nothing that ever comes into my brain is my own, Casey.
Amen.
Thank you. Appreciate
You got it, man. So Davidson, I would say, describe the primary, describe the tertiary, and we want to describe them in a positive way because if we refer to them outward facing, we want it to inspire them, right? Like our avatar is the mission-driven messenger. Man, when the right person hears that, man, it's a call to arms. Yes, I'm a mission messenger. We don't call them anything negative, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I know you're suffering with this problem, and here's another thing that it's gonna cloud up your day a little bit. You're unobscure and lost, and we don't call them the zero personal branders or anything like that, right? Like we it's a mission-driven messengers who we want to serve. So we look at them in the most positive light possible, and that's what we use as an avatar persona.
So quick, I tried. It's not showing the updates on my version of it. Is it because you're still in that document, or?
Let me see. It should update here.
Okay. Let me just make.
See if that, or maybe refresh your side into and see.
Okay. Weird. What? I'm not sure why it's not updating.
Did you refresh on your side?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
Let me try again.
The only thing I really did was swap the primary and the secondary.
True. Alright, I can add what you just wrote, yeah. That's not too difficult.
I'll pop this in the chat. I don't know why, I've never seen that though.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, and then walk through the demographics, walk through the psychographics.
Okay.
Now, typically we only do the demographics and the psychographics for the primary avatar, but since you want your secondary to become your primary, it would be a good exercise for you to do the demographics and psychographics for both.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You got it, man. Okay, so I'm gonna go Jane. Jane, are you here?
Oh no.
Anybody speaking?
I think she just dropped.
We have Jerry.
Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. You're muted, sir.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm great, thanks.
Now, I know you guys are not related, but you guys kind of look a little similar. You and John.
Brothers from another mother.
Could be.
Man, great to have you aboard, Jerry. Great to have you aboard. I'm going to work with you and John next since we don't know what happened to Jane. I hope everything's okay. Sometimes people's internet goes out. She is in France, so you never know. So, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Were you able to get your repository pulled up?
Yep.
Awesome. I'm gonna pull it up on my side too.
Actually,
Jane just said my electricity in my building just went out.
Well,
Shoot.
Oh, crap. That sucks.
Let me pause the shot clock here. Let me message you here.
Jared, I love your old school stereo system, man. Does that have an 8-track?
Actually, yes. I've got my collection from the 80s. It skips every now and then because you have to tape them because the tape actually breaks, and so where you tape it, the audio, so then it skips, but it's all right.
Well, you know, when you listen to Whitesnake 100 times, it's gonna, you know, you are gonna break the tape. Davidson doesn't even know who that is.
I'll Google. Who is it?
Did you say White Snake?
Yeah.
Whitesnake?
Journey, Boston. You remember some of these bands?
Yeah.
Billy Squire. The Cure.
I would have loved to have been an adult in the 80s. Rather than born in the 80s.
Well, I was technically an adult in the 80s, but my behavior would not have given you evidence of such.
Nice.
Hold on a second. Oh, this is from one of your clients? Hey, you took a call from me 3 years ago?
No, so I randomly, right when we just, like, I just got a random message, like, out of nowhere, and then this guy was like, hey, yeah, and then he just sent me that message, like, just now. I was like, what? That's so crazy, right? It's different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Davidson, do you have a system where you reach out to people like that with a couple key questions to answer so they could actually give you a testimonial?
Ooh.
Like, hey, thank you so much. I would love to use this so I can help even more people. Would you mind answering these questions from this perspective? And that's something I'm always trying to get from people. Man, you create this library that you can use in your copy, and you can now you have the ones that are, you know, totally relevant to maybe the first or second audience, right?
Yeah.
Because I always forget to do that. And I'm like, oh shoot, when the iron was hot, I should have just asked the question.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I will do that. So what I've been doing is, when they do that, I'll be like, hey, would you be okay with writing me a LinkedIn recommendation? Now I have like 80 LinkedIn recommendations. Like basically what they said, it's like all in that. But it's interesting because I'm like, that's my primary, but I keep trying to focus on this new audience that I'm trying to go after. So maybe I should.
And do you have a format on how to write the recommendation that you could send them, a framework?
No, they just write it for me usually.
So well, I can see if I can find one, but basically I say, hey, could you do this? State the problem and why you reached out to me. Right? What were the action steps you took after we talked, and what was the results, and why was it personally meaning for you? You know our conversation or the coaching work that we did. So you're actually grabbing the pieces that you could then make it really relevant if you want to reuse it later.
Aw. That's good, man. Yeah, that makes it so much easier. Reducing friction as well. So.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh shoot, I can answer these 4 questions. That's easy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll do that right now since, like you said, the iron's hot. So, thank you.
I love a hot iron. It's a good time to do some branding. All right, so check this out. I love you guys laughed at that. Awesome advice. Davidson, you should also ask him for an introduction, a referral, right? we want to ask people for introductions. We don't say referral because it's a dirty word, right? Because no one gets excited about giving someone a referral. Rarely, unless they're like a sales geek, right? We always recommend using the word introduction. Hey, do you know anyone that blah 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 fits this description? Yeah, I do. Great. Would you be open to introducing me to them? So we're always asking for an introduction, all right? So I would describe your current avatar and say, do you know anyone that fits that description? Then describe the new avatar that you want to start meeting. And look to start, you always want to build the relationships before you need them, right? We are always in the relationship building business. We're also in the list building business, always. So yeah, I would say, man, this is so great, super touched by this. I'd love to connect with you. Do you want to schedule 15 minutes to connect next week or something like that? Jump on a Zoom, hear how things are going. He might be a good option for becoming a client in this new phase of life. He could also give referrals or introductions, and you should for sure see if you have a recorder like a Fathom or a Zoom recording, just say, hey, in the last couple of minutes here, would you mind just giving me a video testimonial? Okay. So the people that we have deposited into their life, those are the people we feel confident about making withdrawal.
Solid. Love you guys. You're awesome.
We love you too, man. We love you too. Look at so much love in the room.
That's not just the beer talking either, Davidson.
I love you, man.
This is good stuff. It's good stuff.
Oh my gosh, man. Can we just go grab lunch together and like throw some darts and just listen to like a cool listen to a band play or something and just catch it? All right, let's do some work, you guys. It's time to get to work. John, Jerry, do you have on your team called Jingleheimer Smith? Because if you do, I'm going to be like really.
Yeah, he lives in Alabama.
I guess it's technically John Jacob. All right. I should have kept that one to myself. Where do we want to go, guys? Where are we at so far? I'm going to pull this up. Thoughts, questions, ideas. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, let me start with what I think where we've landed on our core target audience, and then some questions I have around that.
Right.
Because I'm really clear, I think, on secondary and tertiary. So primary is the CEO.
Yep.
He's 50 years old, right? Very similar to Jerry and I. And his company is doing between 10 and 50 million in revenue. Okay. I don't know about getting deep into an industry. It's interesting, the clients that we're having a lot of success with are from software company, commercial insurance, green energy company, construction company, right? But there's a lot of similarities in that leader, right? So they are a mission-driven leader. I would say our ideal client is somebody who has very strong faith and they want to bring that into their culture, but that's not a litmus test. Because oftentimes that leader just working with Jerry and I and our influence moves into a place of discipleship, Casey. So, you and I talked about that, right? So, I think that level of business, if you're already at 5 or 10 or 20, what gets really hard is, they're too big to be small and too small to be big. So to really, to go from 10 to 20, you could hire Boston Consulting Group, and I'll guarantee you'd get there, but you can't afford Boston Consulting Group. Okay. Their talent is, even if you have a lot of A and B players, they've probably never grown a 20, 30, 40, $50 million business. So A mentor of Jerry and I said the other day, and I love this, right? Every time you reach a whole new level of success, you're rewarded with a whole new level of unconscious incompetence. So think about what that means. Let's just say I got to a $10 million business. You're like, okay, everything I did to get here, that should get me to 20. And why is this so hard? It's so frustrating. My profitability of what we do, my training, my culture, my systems, my processes, and they think that this should be easy. What they don't realize is it's not. It takes an entirely almost new strategy to get into that next level. So what are they feeling? You know what their feeling is? Totally out of balance at home. The guy I met with yesterday, because I had this conversation with him, he's literally working 14 to 18 hours a day right now. He's got 2 kids in high school and a daughter in college, and he just feels like to succeed at work, it almost requires this, sacrifice.
Do you guys have a method where it doesn't?
Yes, because what I'll guarantee you, and I already saw it, actually. What's that?
We give them a cigar, and
yes,
everything. So,
yep.
I thought that was a cigar, Jerry, and I really respect
all you have to, that's all we do, and it's like 10 grand. It's a very expensive cigar, but it works.
It teaches you how to slow down in order to speed up.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
And your business will be smoking.
Yeah. So here's what I think they're feeling, these guys, if we want to get into some psychographics, right? First of all, I call it delayed decision making.
Sorry, before you get on that image, I pulled up your repository and it looks blank. Am I looking at the wrong thing?
No, I've been filling stuff out in OneNote. I need to put it in here.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna pull this up then, and then do you want me to try and type in this, or do you want me to just listen?
So here I can type. Let's see if I type. Do you see it? Let's see.
I should.
Look at the cause at the top.
I see you.
Oh yeah, it's working. Okay. But I think that core audience would be that CEO. Let's call it a $10 to $15 million company.
Okay.
They're mission driven. Right? Our secondary market is the U.S. Military. We're the preferred leadership trainer to the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Space Force. And this is a division that largely scales and runs itself with the 2 employees I have working on it. And it has been great revenue, and it's kind of been our just consistent, steady income that allows us to focus on some other things.
Do you go through like RFPs, or is it just you guys have government contracts?
Both. We just got awarded 8 contracts in the last 2 days.
What?
Wow. Well, we've been doing it for 7 years, so we have all these relationships now, and we're getting new customers because our reputation has slowly been building, and our body of what they call past performance has been building. And we're on a short list. The preferred leadership trainer to the Air Force list is only 5 companies. So they've changed the policy. You only can buy leadership training from that short list of 5. So that's also, but that is, that's not the focus of this branding. We are going to have a government page on there. It's already done though with all of the stuff we do.
So cool.
Our goal is to switch, because tertiary, which was primary up until a year and a half ago, was one-on-one executive coaching. I only take those now at a very, very rarely, it has to be a pretty special situation. And I'm probably only going to take you on if working with you one-on-one actually leads to using your company. I mean, over time, working with your whole company, maybe you just need to get to know me and my team better over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So.
Impact is the birthplace of dollar bills. Impact, the executive.
Yep. And then and I do a lot of, in my biggest form in the past, I don't think we've done any traditional marketing, Casey, over the last 5 years. I think almost virtually everything we've done has been from referral, based on just the results and quality of the past work. So as we scale, though, I can see, this year our goal is Jerry and I are working to really refine this new engagement model. With Jerry's background as a CFO and the CTO on the operational side, and my expertise on the leadership, culture, strategy side, and Jerry's very good at strategy. We really believe that we can, our brand promise that I want it to be, but we got to prove this out over the next 12 months, is that we can double the value of your company in 12 months or less. And I believe we can execute on that.
Through leadership.
And operations. And looking at their financials and creating a strategy that moves them from the 10 to the 20, because right now they don't have the blueprint. So they're busy. So what's the problem? Okay. Actually, I would actually say if I do one word up here, I'm going to delete that up here.
So what you do is more than leadership. I mean, you're into systems and all kinds of stuff.
Correct, and we do things on a project basis, and every project has an ROI, and we bill by project. We don't come in and say, hey, it's a $20,000 a month retainer, and we're going to work with you for 3 years. That is the goal. Our goal is that we work with every client on average for 3 years, and we want our average billing to be about $20,000 a month. But we'll talk about how we get there. I think right now we got to talk about how to get the person interested in that first conversation, right?
Yeah. So alignment is a good thing.
Yeah, but here's the problem is they're out of alignment. They know that their communication is off. They're frustrated with their people. They're out of alignment personally. They're not working in their strengths. They know that product lines that they have are not profitable. They don't know how to fix it. Right? They're the alignment of maybe their direct team and then the managers behind them to the whole mission and vision of the company, having a sense of ownership is not there. So as I was brainstorming a whole bunch of words, alignment is the one that stood out to me the most. I actually started with profitability because that's where we start with them because it so resonates.
Yeah, they want to see the money.
They want to see the money, but I think lack of profitability is not the core constraint. It's the alignment. So I think this is more of an internal word at this point. How to communicate that, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Jerry, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that leadership piece is you're really talking also about that C-suite or that senior leader as well. So, these folks are leading the enterprise, and this enterprise could be a couple hundred people or a couple thousand people. So I think it's also important to think about the span of control this person has that you're targeting. They have a lot of responsibility. A little misalignment goes a long ways. Kind of, John, with your analogies of flying 1 degree off, flying from New York to LA, you ain't making it to LA. And so they have a lot of control and a lot of resources, a lot of responsibility. So if their alignment is off just a little bit, for most people, be like, that's okay. And for a $2 million company in top-line revenue, that is okay. But when you go to $20 million, it's not okay anymore. You've got to fix that. And a lot of times they're unaware that they've got to fix it because it worked before. And so that alignment John's talking about is that unconscious incompetence born out of success. They've succeeded, but now they're stuck because there's this nuance that they haven't seen.
I mean, this is all super cool. I'm really digging this. So let's flush. We want it when we talk about the problem. We want it to light them up, right? So what we might do. We really need to work through the psychographics and then at least for my benefit, we need to work through the psychographics, and then we'll go down and there's a whole section where we can build out a problem word cloud. So let's keep walking through. This is great context for me. So if the problem was alignment, it would actually be misalignment.
Oh, very nice.
Huh. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Hey guys, all right, it's been real. The work here is done. Cigar time. So misalignment. But what's interesting is that they don't use that word. It actually might be hiding in the cause. It might be hiding in the blind spot. But we want to know what is the thing that they are talking about when they come to you. It's what is the thing that is on their lips that is painful. Now here is the saving grace. Here's the saving grace. This is not official brand positioning statement stuff, but we're going to talk about pain later in Revenue Engine whenever we get to copywriting. I find it's best to start understanding the pain now. So pain is also can be understood as symptoms. So yes, we are working to find a one-word problem that lights them up, that they can gravitate towards and go, crap, that's it. That's the thing I'm talking about. I've found my guy. If we're off, even 1 degree off on that problem, the saving grace is we're going to have a fat list of pain points. And when we start talking about that list of symptoms, that will catch them. Wow, look at that. Wow. So what you just put in there, Jerry, is what we would call quantifying the problem. These are stats that show that quantifies what we're talking about. I mean, now, one thing that jumps out at me, and every one of these executives will probably jump all over. You know, we're talking military stuff here, right? So let's say if we throw a problem, it's like a grenade. What grenade are they going to jump on, right? So project failures, that's probably one of the worst things that could probably happen to them, right? So you might make failure the one-word problem, and misalignment is the thing that's operating in their blind spot. And then what's powerful there is your uniqueness is typically 99% of the time, your uniqueness is a direct opposite of your cause, right? So let's just say my problem is headaches. I get headaches every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, what I'm unaware of is that I've had 5 cups of coffee and 0 water, and I'm just severely dehydrated, right? That's the cause operating in my blind spot. So we have to get rid of the cause to fix the problem. But dehydration is operating in the background. The uniqueness would be hydration. So if we chose, just for funsies, if we said failure or project failure is the problem that you solve, and misalignment is hiding in the background, then alignment would be the uniqueness.
You know what, that resonates with me, Casey, because you know what, and also something in here, because they don't understand what this word means, and that's strategy. I was with 2 executive teams in the last 3 weeks to do a strategy session, but I first went around and said, okay, what do you guys normally talk about at a strategy session, because you've done these in the past? And everything that everybody said in both groups had nothing to do with strategy, they were all tactics. They're all short term. There was a few mentions about the vision, the mission, the revenue goals, but nothing was really tied into what I would call a doctrine that a company needs to have to create the alignment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So bringing in some of the military vernacular doctrine and something what we call commander's intent, and that is the CEO casting the vision so everybody is on the same page and understands it. And then you quickly know whether this is the place I should be at or not.
And if they don't have a direct order, they do what the commander's intent would be, right? They fall back on that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like if I have ambiguity, but hey, I'm like, well, you know what, this is where we're going. So if I make this action or this choice on a project and it moves us toward that, then I can confidently do that. If not, there's ambiguity, and then guess what? They're actually waiting to be told what to do. And that happens a lot where you have a lot of managers that are in a role of constantly giving advice and being directive, which doesn't build any capacity in your team. And it's typically not a great place to work because you're not being empowered. So that's part of the work that we do too, is actually teach those skills to the management level in alignment with the vision in order to improve the processes and increase the profitability and the quality of life for everybody there. That's a mouthful, but that's where we get to.
Yeah, alignment. Alignment feels pretty that's standing out to me. Rory says that you get the goosies, you get the goosebumps when you hit your problem in uniqueness and you land on that. He says that, usually there's some kind of a, you can kind of feel it. All right, well, I would say, let me just walk through this real quick on the brand positioning statement. So we've got, where did you get these stats, Jerry?
It's Lucid, Harvard Business Review, and Boston Consulting Group.
Good deal.
I can drop those. I dropped Lucid in, but there's 2 more references if you want them.
Oh, it's okay. I was just curious. So whenever you're putting together a sales deck, this stuff is great. To quantify the problem. And if you don't have a sales deck, we should talk about that, because
We don't yet. That's actually what our team has been kind of waiting for me to finish this brand DNA workshop to start moving into website redesign and, making the collateral we need.
Okay. Yeah, so whenever at some point, maybe, tomorrow, if we get caught up on brand DNA and you're feeling good, I can talk you through some of that stuff, or we can do it on our next call, or we can schedule a supplemental call to walk through some of that stuff, because if you had direction on your sales deck, you could probably put something together pretty soon. And I think that conversion goes up significantly when you have a proper deck.
Agreed.
And if you don't have a deck at all, it's really hard, because people need to see it, to understand it, to follow it. And then the way that we teach sales is, in the beginning, we identify what is the thing you want the most and where your biggest pain points currently are, right? And then whenever we have a part where we teach your journey, and then we teach you how to tie those specific wants and needs to your journey, so they can physically see exactly where everything is going to get addressed throughout the process. And having that visual is pretty powerful. I can visually do that on the screen. So anyway, we'll put that on the shelf. So yeah, all these pain points, these percentages, this quantifiable data of misalignment belongs on the sales deck. So if we talk about the problem being, I'm going to put in here, I mean, that project failure feels pretty strong, right?
What do you think, Jerry?
It is, I think it's easier to measure. You know, because there's failure, they are interpersonal failures that are actually enormously costly, but a project failure is easy to identify and measure and say, wow, that was a miss and that cost us $1 million in sales. You know, so projects are just easier to measure. But it's really people, and so John, this is really where you shine, is in the people, and the strategy side is the project is just the outcome, but it's not the root. It's really people, but it's easy to measure. It's like this project won or lost or failed or didn't meet its objective or did or well, or could be improved upon. But really, it's about people executing on the strategy. That's where I think goes back to maybe your failure comment, which is from misalignment. Is that rolls back into if people are not aligned properly, they fail, and then the project fails, and the project's easy to measure. And I think it's also a great place to start because it's easy for people to wrap their mind around. Interpersonal relationships and strategies sometimes hard for them to wrap their mind around, as opposed to, I mean, like John in the PIQ, male profitability IQ, we call it PIQ for short. In the PIQ, we can identify those 5 lowest customers that are costing them the most losses. So if you want to call out a project, and so it's easy to say, hey, that lost you $600,000 and at your multiple of 10x, that's $6 million valuation of the firm. We got to focus on these 5 things. Well, why do you have 5 losers? Well, there's somebody made a decision somewhere that kept those 5 losers. So that, am I answering the question, Casey?
Yeah. You could even, you could shorten it to failure, you could keep it project failure, but I like what you said about, you know, if it's interpersonal relationships or too ethereal, sometimes people have a hard time grasping it. But if you talk about, you know, going into any of these organizations and talking about, hey, we're going to help you overcome project failure, and this is how we do it. And
that's a hot one. So I just had the fuzzies. What project? If you can address project failure for me, I'm in. You know, it's like people are going to be people. You know, but project failure, yeah, you got me.
Can you come to my house? Help me with my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Just take her surfing, Casey.
Yes.
Or ropes course. That's all you got to do.
Hey, I took her surfing in Hawaii. It was gorgeous, Honolulu Beach. And she rode one wave in. She's very athletic. She rode one wave in, surfed it all the way into the beach. I come rushing in. Wasn't that great? Let's go back out. I mean, we're going to spend all day in the waves, and it's going to be great. She's like, I surfed. Can we go back and lay on the beach now? You don't want to float in the water and live out my dream together? You want to be on the... Okay. All right. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to put alignment in here for uniqueness. So this is good because what we'll do now is it's kind of like, you know, when we tighten things gradually, we can see where it might need to be fixed. We're tightening this thing in a triangular way, right? We're looking at problem, uniqueness, cause. We're also looking at message. Like, we're just going to kind of tighten this down. So every step will either prove or disprove it, what we have, all right? So not only in brand DNA, but even as we get into captivating content and archetype the thought leadership, it will either prove or disprove what we have already, and show us where we need to tweak it. So, also you guys, this is the exciting part, is as you're putting out content, as you're talking to customers, clients, as you are maybe like rubbing elbows with new prospects, use this word project failure and just be quiet and watch their reaction.
Yeah, just see if they engage in the conversation or it just doesn't connect, right?
Right. Then you could even play and say, use the word misalignment. Right? Again, misalignment is in the blind spot. They don't see that. But they should, project failure is probably the things that they are sweating hard. That guy that's working 14 hours a day, he does not want his project to fail.
No, because that's a reflection on him as a leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
So pump out the, if you guys would, if you could pump out the demographics and psychographics. And then if you have time, you could even go into the brand positioning state, like the one cause and one word problem brainstorm. And then you can list out other words in a problem cloud and then the other words in the cause cloud as well. So that ought to keep us busy until I come back around. All right, we went over a little bit, but Jane's not here, so we're gonna kind of I'll plan on working with you, Davidson, unless Jane shows up. I'll plan on working with you till lunch. I'm gonna take a quick bio break at BBG.
When does lunch start, Casey?
30 minutes. We'll break for lunch.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let me. Great.
A bio break at Brand Builders Group could literally be anything you want it to be. Right? It could be yoga, it could be a cigar, it could be the bathroom. But I'm gonna take a quick bio break. I'll be back in 5.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Love the website, John. Looks good. Looks like you've done a thing or two in your life. You're
Yeah, well, and thank you, Davidson. And as you read it, you can see that it's really focused on the one-on-one coaching, right?
Yeah.
And the speaking to a group that leads to one-on-one. So we need to kind of revamp it to get in alignment with what we just talked about today. So there's some good bones there.
Yeah.
But I think it needs a little refresh.
And you guys are based in Denver, or what town are you in?
Oh, we got about, oh my gosh, how many people on the team between the two of us? Probably 25 people, Jerry.
Okay.
And I think there's 3 people in Denver, but they're literally all over the country.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we've been a virtual company for the last decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you? Where are you again?
I'm in Jersey. I'm just trying to figure out who to introduce you to. So I might be in your world a lot more because I just bought into a franchise, like a AI consulting franchise. So in our sweet spot, I think I saw on your sheets, like, was it 20 to 50 million in revenue, right? So yeah, that might be close to our sweet spot actually. So there could be an opportunity to like refer each other business once I'm like a little bit. This is week 3 of the business. I'm still trying to figure things out.
Yeah, we'd love that. Yeah, that'd be fun. If you ever get here, let me know. We'll get together.
Yeah, a lot of my friends moved over there. I guess, yeah, like folks that are close, one guy, he's like pretty much retired, I think, so he moved over there. And some.
I'm gonna let my dogs out too because my old dog has been nudging my leg, which means
I'm gonna do a minor break. Be right back.
Yeah.
Davidson,
Hey.
tell me about your AI franchise.
Yeah, so it's only been around. Actually, oh yeah, it'd be 10 years. So it'd be my first time going to India, Bangalore, more specifically. So there's each franchise owner kind of like owns like a different location. So I'm like the New Jersey, New York territory, and there's like another person I met with yesterday that also has the New York territory. So each and it's like global. So there's people like in Australia, UK, like scattered everywhere. There's someone in the Netherlands, etc. So similar to like any other franchise, like the playbook. Whether it's like a Shake Shack or McDonald's, right? So there's like a menu of products that you can choose from. So some franchise owners like are more focused on like the data analytics and the visualizations and dashboards, and some are Salesforce or ERP consulting. So we're just trying to get like the lay of the land. But there's the only problem, I guess you could say, if it's a problem, but there's just so many products to choose from. So it's like, all right, what do we want to niche down so that, because when you have everything, then that's not good. So, but this is the third week, so we're just trying to figure out what are all the products right now. But yeah, chat box is another popular product, creating chat boxes.
Great.
Oh yeah, you come from you come from like a data background, right? I think I saw on your profile.
Yeah, I'm a certified data scientist with IBM. I've got a workbench from Watson. So we do a lot of data analytics and AI, ML, RPA with that. So
okay.
AI
Yeah.
franchises.
Okay, I keep forgetting that you're in that world. Okay, because sometimes I'm like, how can I? So for more specific, UiPath is like our big partner with the RPA stuff. So yeah.
And so it's kind of the role I play is really kind of a triad. It's really a CFO triad, which is CFO, CTO, CIO. So data management, IT, and finance.
Okay.
And so it's just because all those three things are converging.
Yeah.
FinTech is just pushing all those together. So finance, technology, and data management, you got to do them all. You can't have somebody else. I mean, in very large corporations, you can bifurcate, trafficate those roles, but in middle market companies under 100 million, it's still really the same person, but typically they don't have the skill set to do that.
So part of your product, you're doing that in addition to the coaching as well, or?
So John does the coaching, I do the operational side.
Okay.
Okay. You've got project failure, we can solve it, you want to hear about it, and he said, yeah, and he says, like, it's your leadership, and if you do these three things, so get misalignment out, but we can, now he goes, he said, yeah, but we still don't have the skills to do that, or we don't have the capacity. And I would come in as a CFO triad and say, you got the skills and we got the capacity for you, while you're aligning these pieces out, we will build this out for you, define it out, process systems, protocols, ISO 9000, and then we can back out and let your team train them or hire a full-time replacement for that role. So it allows that to where strategy and ops meet, and a lot of times they just don't have, they have a skills gap and a capacity gap, so once they see the blind spot, now it's like, if you think about a bridge, they need to get from side A to side B, there's this Russian river and there's this bridge with many planks missing. And so sometimes we need to drop in those planks so they can make it over, and they have to cross the bridge a lot. So eventually they need to put their own planks in, but a weekend for a year or two, provide those, or a project for 90 days, provide that role.
Yeah, Davidson, typically, when we enter and we have some good conversations, we do a lot of kind of rigorous analysis on their culture, leadership, financials, and they pay for this. It's not a lot, but then we come back and say, here's what we're seeing, here's our recommendations, and we think these are the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. We can hand you the blueprint and you go do it yourself, and man, we'll be your cheerleaders, or we can come alongside you and help you implement all this. And or if you just don't have the bandwidth, but it's a priority and this would be a big ROI, we can actually bring in a person to be an interim, whatever, operations manager, CFO, project manager. And so we can engage it wherever their needs are we have some companies go, well, hey, thank you for the blueprint. We're going to go execute. And then we're going to stay in touch with them because we know at some point they're going to get frustrated and they're going to say, hey, we need a little bit more help. Right? Or, hey, we're going to try to hire, an ops manager. We have a couple good candidates. And we would love to help that person succeed. If we can maybe come in and coach them as they transition in, or oftentimes though they're trying to hire too fast, and then it doesn't work out. Then we're like, okay, well then we want to be the first call they make, even if it's a year from now, right? So we kind of have this abundance mindset. If we go out and just a ton of value to a lot of people, we're going to have really good results.
Cool. Yeah, I might after. I mean, obviously outside of this, I might set you up with a call with my partner, Larry. Yeah, I feel like there could be some synergies here. So we'll talk outside. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. All right, David, so let's rock and roll, man. I'm not going to set a timer because we're just going to roll straight to lunch.
Oh, right, okay.
So
I would love to find out figure out the uniqueness. That's yeah, that sounds like that would be helpful.
Okay. Sorry, I'm in the wrong page. Here we go.
Oh, I found that one. So we were on the right page. I just realized the core target audience is on twice. It's the first part, and when you scroll down, it's on again. So I was like, oh, what's happening? But it was actually, yeah, that's why.
Good deal. All right, so look at that. You got demographics for both. Are you going to do do we need to change the name? So
yeah. So, alright. I guess, it could be any random name, right? It could be, Wyatt. Okay.
Hey, that's a great name.
So that's the name of the guy that just texted me that thing that I was sharing with you earlier.
Yeah, Wyatt, that's great.
Yeah.
Alright, so, you want to talk about your uniqueness?
Yeah, how do I find out what that is?
Dive into this.
Oh, number 10, okay. On page 10, sounds like there's a framework for it.
There is. Good call out to a framework. Yes, so your uniqueness is really the opposite of the cause. Because the uniqueness is the thing that eradicates the cause. Because in order to get rid of the problem, we have to get rid of it at the root.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is just a band-aid, right? So I talked about, did you hear me talk about dehydration and hydration? That's okay if you did.
A little bit, but no.
So let's say the problem I solve is headaches, right? The reason people are getting headaches is because they drink 5 cups of coffee and no water. Right? So really what I understand is that the problem they're aware of is that they get a headache.
Okay.
What's hiding in the blind spot is they're dehydrated. So usually the cause and the uniqueness are direct opposites, typically.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm going to get rid of dehydration, my uniqueness has to be hydration.
Yeah, so I wrote unfulfillment and self-criticism. I mean, is it as simple as just self-love? Like, it sounds almost too simple to...
Well, the best brand positioning statements in the world are usually the most simple ones.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be rocket science.
Yeah. It could be acceptance. Acceptance, I think, if I was to boil down to I think it's just acceptance.
Yeah, but I'm really cautious to drill down on your uniqueness without properly understanding the problem.
Oh, okay.
The problem and typically the way it works the best is if we solidify the problem, then the cause, then the uniqueness.
Okay.
Typically the way that these things work the best.
Got it.
Cheryl,
So, all right. So the problem, because like what I always when I do this with Jay, I'm always like, all right, I'm just thinking me 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, right? So, what most software salespeople do is like, oh, we have to like chase making more money, getting promoted, going from SDR to SMB, AE, then mid market, and then enterprise, and then strategic accounts, right? And each of these give you like a $30,000 raise usually, but what I found is that it actually doesn't make people happier. Like all the software salespeople I know, like, you know, when we're just hanging out, they're like, dude, I hate my life, like golden handcuffs, like I'm only here because like I'm trying to like save up for my kids' college, but I actually hate my job, you know?
yeah. So what I'm gonna urge us to do is like work through the psychographics first.
Okay.
And see if we can prove or disprove the what we have so far.
Okay.
And I love this message, tell yourself an empowering story. The reason I love that is because it does overcome self-criticism. If you go, hey, remember that time we were really awesome? You know, moms are great at this. Most moms, right? They're great at picking you back up and just showing you how awesome you are, right? And re-empowering you. So if you ever, you know, so everyone needs someone in their life that can help support them. But anyway, so I love the message because it's doable, right? Your message has to be actionable. I should be able to go to my neighbor and tell them this message, and they should be able to stand up and know what to go and do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I love the message. It might not be the right message, right? Like,
yeah.
But but it's great, right? Like it's all this looks pretty good, and it looks like there's alignment in all of it. But let's just prove it or disprove it as we work through your demographics and psychographics.
Okay, cool.
Because we can, you know, when I first started as a strategist, I'd get really caught in that phase first, but then like I realized like it really all stems out of your avatar.
Okay, got it.
So, how do you describe that primary avatar?
Huh. That's a good point.
How do we capsulize that?
I mean, I'm trying to see how can I frame it in a more positive way, right? But I'll see the reality, and then you can help me make it like sound nice. But it's like lost people who are always like getting promoted, winning awards, employee of the month, and like on paper we're very successful, but we're very critical of ourselves, and we're like beating ourselves up all the time.
Mm-hmm. So it could be the high achiever seeking fulfillment.
Yeah. That's yeah. So I guess it is similar to let me see. The place of smoldering discontent.
That's a great way to talk about. That's a great way to describe the pain.
Yeah. I'll put that on the bottom. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like you just can't get it. You can't get out of it.
Yeah, like for me, like, all right, it's like, oh, publishing 300 podcast episodes, getting, winning employee of the month, like winning all the awards at LinkedIn, whatever, right? It's like, I thought that would make me happier, right? And these are the people that I'm attracted to, right? Because I'm like sharing about how like, oh, like I thought publishing my first book, I thought I'd be happier. Like, oh, I thought buying a brand new house would make me happier. I thought buying this nice car would make me happier, but I'm still the same level of happiness, right? So those are like the same type of people that I'm attracting to, where it's like they come to me because they're like, oh, Davidson, you got promoted to enterprise AE, like I'm trying to get to where you are, like can you coach me? But then I help them get promoted to enterprise AE, and then they call me 6 months later, they're like, I don't know, like I thought I'd be happier, but I'm more stressed now.
Yeah, so it could be like the chronic overachiever looking for fulfillment or seeking
Chronic
fulfillment.
overachiever. Oh, okay. Trying to reach others that, yeah, the others. I think that's the thing where it's like and I'm definitely very guilty of this. Like, so a lot of my clients are people that work at LinkedIn, for instance, right? So you can, because I used to work at LinkedIn, so as you can imagine, people that work at LinkedIn are very externally focused, right? It's like, oh, trying to get ahead, like trying to build my brand, like trying to, but it's so external driven. It's like, oh, my sense of worth is like I get to 20,000 subscribers or whatever, and then they're stressed out because they're just like, oh, I have to be posting every day, or I have to like show up a certain way, or I have to like donate to this many charities because that's what everyone else is doing. It's very externally focused.
That's great. That's great context too. So we can put, there's some, we're going to describe them. We're going to describe the avatars in a way that makes the most sense first, and then we'll polish it to what we call the avatar persona.
Okay.
And there's a place here for the avatar persona right here, right? Which you kind of have that high achiever. This is really, I would say it's probably pretty close. And then Daring Hearts is an awesome title. It's an awesome title. And we'll talk about titles more. I think we'll probably get into that tomorrow. Talking about titles, just depending on how titles is kind of one of the last things we touch on. Because another cheat code here is when you talk about the payoffs are the things that they want the most in life, because these are the things that are motivating them, right? And so we need to understand the payoffs as the most desirable things that they want the most, because we'll use that in our marketing. We'll toggle between the pain and the payoffs in all of our content and all of our marketing and our website copy. So the payoffs need to be the thing that they would do any amount of work and spend any amount of money to obtain.
Okay.
All right, that's when we know we've got great payoffs. And so what we do is we want a fat list of payoffs, and then we'll take those payoffs and we'll weave them into your title, because the title needs to be the thing that they want the most.
Okay.
Right? So that's why we usually do titles, at the end of Brand DNA, because then we know exactly what they want. But Daring Hearts is a great title, right? It's something that kind of stirs the heartstrings. It's motivating. It's empowering. It's exciting for people that have that or want that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like happiness is like something that I notice. Finding their tribe is like another one. Like freedom of time, choices, like energy. Like those are the things that I'm noticing. And then like deep relationships, like understanding self. So I guess like self-actualization. But I want to package it so it's like makes sense. But those are the things that and then like ultimately like, and probably the most important is like having confidence in their decisions. Choices and decisions.
Davidson, if you help me, let's say, achieve all that because you've got me a new job, what would that do for me personally?
The confidence thing is a big one, like, cause the milestones, like, oh wow, like I really, like for instance, like when I got into LinkedIn, like I was very happy. I was like, wow, like I reached one of the most competitive companies, you know, in the world to get into, right? So it's just like reaching that milestone. So whether it's like publishing a book, creating a podcast, starting a YouTube channel, like those are some of the things I've also helped some of my clients with. So it's usually like reaching milestones. So, okay, so maybe that is one of the payouts, right? Like being able to reach their milestones.
Yep.
Okay. So that's more specific than viewed as successful, right? Because I feel like that's a little bit more vague.
Well, you know what? I think your self-love could be onto something, but it almost could be like, love who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Just kind of reframed a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Because right now they're not. That's why they're discontent and frustrated and
Yeah.
right, worried about what other people think about them.
Oh, you know what I just realized as well? Because this is like the BBG is a very Christian, very spiritual community, right? So I'm, you know, just to be transparent, I'm like agnostic, and I'm realizing a lot of my people, my clients are also agnostic, and we all are all seeking that spirituality, but we do it, but we find that community via the lens of Tony Robbins and like I guess more of these self-development gurus. So that's so interesting that you mentioned. Yeah. So that is something I'm noticing as well. Interesting.
Yeah. As you talk about success, it's successful in their eyes, right? Like the self.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's such a huge. That's key, right? In their eyes. Yeah.
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 Because they are probably, if they're hitting these these new levels of success aren't making them happy, right? Because
Right.
they're chasing that. Their scoreboard is, they think their scoreboard needs to be around how much they make, their home, their car, their vacations, right? That's usually the scoreboard that people have. Really, you're probably going to introduce them to a new scoreboard.
Ooh, that's good. And I noticed that too, because like all of my community is usually like based in San Francisco and New York City. So like that is like the scoreboard of like New York City, right? It's like, oh, how can I afford this penthouse, like, you know, 80th floor, whatever. But then I see that they're all escaping via like, oh, I need to sleep with as many women as possible, or I need to like, you know what I mean? But it's like you can tell that they're just drained and they're just dying inside, you know, chasing these like extrinsic goals.
So they need to, that might be part of one of the things that you do with them in your curriculum or in your coaching process, is you might help them develop the self-love scoreboard.
Ooh, yes.
And everyone's looks different.
Yeah. That's so good. I love that.
We're all unique.
You're right, because a lot of the exercise that I go through is like, hey, like, what are your values and where are you actually spending your time, right? So that's always like a pretty eye-opening one for a lot of people. So that's a good one.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm realizing is that, you know, most people put money or success in the middle, and then they build out the next ring, then they build out their values, or they build out, you know, how they spend their time. But what I'm realizing that usually the shift that people need is they need to actually move their values to the middle. You know, the values need to come out of the middle, then the values shape their time, which then shapes their money. So it's really, you're gonna kind of flip them inside out and help them understand, like, what is the self-love scoreboard, right? That which we around, like, the values. Because right now they're putting money in the middle and expecting everything in place, but you're gonna help them.
Well, yeah, and this is part of my messaging, right? Because similar to me, like, we all come from not having a father, like, we all were either adopted or orphans, or so, like, most of my people come from, like, broken families, right? So I think, or immigrants, or they just, came to America. So it's like, because we came from the lens of abuse and drug, like, people dying around us, and, like, more of these, like, or drugs, or addicted to whatever it is, right? It's interesting because we all come from, like, oh, well, I grew up without money, so, like, I need money, right? And so it is interesting how I'm seeing the like, why money is important, right? Because it's like, well, yeah, you grew up literally having to figure out how to pay rent every day. It's kind of hard to not think about that, So it does take time for people to kind of, like, get out of that mindset. But I think, and also being in New York City, like, you're just, that's all people talk about is money. That's sort of like the culture that we're surrounded by.
Yeah, and so another thing to think about is your uniqueness is something that you have in spades. You have a lot of that. You have a very well built muscle in that space, and they do not, right? So your uniqueness is the thing that you have that they do not have, and you're helping them build that. Okay, and that's essentially what you do in captivating content is as they move through those pillars. As they move through these pillars, they start with the problem, right? And then they come into pillar one. As they move from pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar, right? You're helping them develop your uniqueness. And then come out the other side with the payoffs. Right? And so that's what the captivating content, that's what it does, is it helps them build that muscle of your uniqueness, and then they can have the payoffs that they seek.
Okay.
So that's just more foreshadowing. For you guys.
I think, like, just answering that question without overthinking it, I think my uniqueness is, like, just courage. Like, I take action. Like, people are like, I don't, like, why, how do you put yourself out there every day and you're crying in front of, like, thousands of people on social media like that? Like, no one does that, So, maybe that's what maybe people are seeking. They're like, oh, how do you have the courage to leave, LinkedIn, who, where there's, like, 1,000 people applying for that role that you got. Like, I would never leave, like, something that I worked so hard to get, So, that's helpful. Okay.
So the next stage, what we need to do is we need to work through your psychographics for your avatar, and then we'll work through. So we'll work through the psychographics, then we'll work through this part here, causing one more problem, and then we can really nail it.
Okay.
Funny, you fly from someone, that's great. Welcome back, everyone. How was the morning session? How's everyone feeling? You able to really hone in on that avatar a little bit more, take steps in that direction? Good. That is really going to make all of the difference. And even if you're still trying to figure that out and really kind of land on who that individual is, again, it's iterative. Like, once you move into the next piece and the next piece, it's going to be a game changer. Yes, Ruby, you want to share? Or you just want to share?
Yeah, hi everyone. I just want to share on behalf of my team members and our group. Matt is the man. I mean, all three of us walked through the entire process seamlessly. We were helping each other out, and it was very heartwarming to see the mini breakthroughs that were happening in the process of every single one of us. So that was really, really awesome. If that's the DBG recipe for future sessions and future events, can't wait.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And that is so awesome. I popped into y'all's group for a little bit this morning and there was good stuff happening. But yeah, sharing in the successes and even the smaller breakthroughs for everyone makes a huge difference. And like I said, it's iterative. It's every single pillar is going to build upon the one before it, right? And so you can circle back around to this core avatar if you need to and really think through them as you're thinking through problem, cause, message, uniqueness, right? We're going to keep moving you forward, but once you're starting with the who, like it's going to become crazy how clear things become to you moving forward. So really glad you guys are here. You guys are excused for lunch. We'll come back a little after 1 p.m. 1:03 Central Standard Time. Take a break, take a brain break, get whatever you need, and we'll see you back here shortly. You ready?
Okay. Yo, good stuff. Yo, this is amazing.